towing is free. Plus, you'll get a tax receipt and family meals for a year, compliments of our hometown Lion's Choice, while supplies last. For more info or to donate online, visit mersgoodwill.org. Your car donation helps fund Goodwill's many programs, including their Excel Center High School with over 400 graduates and still growing. Your donations change lives.
I just created a special offer with CareStan. 40% off their new Luxcraft collection.
Great! Luxcraft is the most elegant luxury vinyl. It is nature recreated into floors that look like weathered barnwood, Appalachian timber, even century-old logs.
20 natural wood creations and wide 9-inch planks. Now, 40% off an Ambassador Midwest floor.
And get professional installation by our team of master craftsmen.
Offer ends December 31st at all 4 Ambassador Midwest floor locations.
Experience more at Ambassador
Midwest Floor.
Critical thinking for critical times. The free exchange of ideas. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Download the radio.com app and stream the station wherever you go. The Annie Frey Show is sponsored by Forensic IT, the tech experts that find the root cause of your technical problems. ForensicIT.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
If you don't vote, the socialists and the communists win. They win. Georgia patriots must show up and vote for these two incredible people. And I'm telling you, they're two of the finest people you'll ever meet.
So if there is ever any question whatsoever about what you're supposed to do in the Georgia election, if you by chance are listening to this show and can vote in the Georgia election, you better be voting in the Georgia Senate runoff election. You could say that the country is at stake. I mean, even if you voted for Joe Biden because you can't stand Donald Trump, and you maybe don't love what Joe Biden has to offer, maybe you don't love what the segregated Democratic Party has to offer with maybe the left wing of the Democratic Party, they're going to be able to do a lot more if they win those 2 seats in the Georgia Senate race. I don't think it's going to happen, but crazier things have happened this year. So stand by and do what the president said there. He even mentioned in his rally in Georgia, he referred to a couple of his friends, which is the attorney Lynn Wood and I assume Sidney Powell, suggesting that they had said, maybe you need to do something else. And he's like, no, you need to vote. It was good of him to come out and say that. And I thought it probably underscores how much the Trump campaign is, and the RNC is looking at what Lynn Wood is out there saying, going, what in the world are you doing? Stop it. I was really happy to hear him say that. It was a long rally. If you watch that whole thing, it went on and on and on. And he was in rally form, Trump rally form, which was interesting because we haven't seen a lot of him since the election. We haven't seen a whole lot of him coming out and talking and even smiling. So I think it was good for people who, needed a little bit of that pick-me-up from their president. And of course, the rest of the country that would normally avoid things like that, they just continue to go on and avoid it. Isn't it amazing how much of a placeholder Joe Biden is? Like,
Yes.
What does Joe Biden stand for? What is Joe Biden out there really lobbying for? I mean, there's nothing that seems to be, if you were to ask that question in 2016, in December of 2016, what does Trump stand for? There'd be a pretty obvious difference, or at least notable understanding of what were Trump's policies and what are Republican policies. Build the wall. That was one of them. That wasn't something that we were seeing over and over and over, fist to the table from the GOP is we need to build a wall on the southern border. Trump made that his thing. China was something that he was very aggressively targeting in his campaign, saying that he was, the America First mentality. And he was going to renegotiate deals. He did it. He's built the wall. He's done these things that he said he was going to do. And now we wait and see. Michael says on Facebook, Joe Biden is a career politician that lies, period. I think that there's this establishment kind of politician who knows how the game is played. And a lot, I've said this a whole lot, a lot of how the game is played is time. How much time needs to pass between A and B before I get done what I need to get done? And they're not in a hurry. You talk about the vaccine warp speed, the way we got that vaccine, multiple vaccines to the approval point in such a rapid amount of time. That's unheard of in government in general. Government moves at a glacial pace. It's designed that way, especially when you consider the fact the less that you on an expected basis, on a repeated level, the less you get done, and as long as everybody kind of has a wink and a nod agreement about it on both sides of the aisle, the less you have to promise and the less you actually have to commit to following through those promises when you're campaigning things. When you have a whole laundry list of promise, go back to Trump's campaign, one of his campaign slogans for his reelection, promises made, promises kept. There were a ton of things that this guy said he was going to do that he actually worked really hard to get done. Of course, if you're not a supporter of Trump, then you may not have liked how fast he got a lot of those things done. The question now will be how many of those things can be immediately undone with executive orders by Joe Biden. I've seen a lot of, in the wake of a lot of these lockdowns that are taking place on both sides of the river, people losing their businesses, worried about losing their businesses. I saw Satchmo's last night had a whole bunch of perishable food. I retweeted it last night, so you can go to @AnnieFrey if you want. They got closed down by Sam Page, and they were out last night giving a bunch of food out to first responders, frontline workers, because they had all this perishable food. They needed to do something with it. It's pretty amazing that they're doing that. And, I look at all these people who are in such a troubled position because they're trying to do the right thing. They're trying to listen to what science is saying. They're trying to listen to what the elected officials are saying. They're also looking at their own livelihoods and saying, how do I do all of this and not go broke? How do I accommodate everything that everyone's asking of me and still have my business? And there's no compassion out there in the world right now. There's nobody out there who is seeking to lift everybody up. Everybody has an angle. Everybody has a political point. Everybody has a political football, and they're just looking for any end zone anywhere to spike it in. Most people are finding those end zones on social media, which when everybody is in the end zone spiking a football, do you really feel special about it? When everybody is there and they're all, pounding their chests with fancy words and like just really biting insults. Does it feel good? I don't know. It's ugly to watch. That's for sure. I'm watching as businesses are dwindling. I'm watching, if you go to the Facebook page, Annie Frey Show Facebook page, at 8:45 on Friday night, my husband and I were driving our kids around, and there were times where we were on Main Street, and there were times where there was not a car or person in sight. It was unbelievable. I've never seen anything like that. SIU, Edwardsville, it's a college town. There are bars up and down that street. The Wildy Theater is right there. Then it's dead. Now, they're not open, so it's not like they're open and nobody's coming. Edwardsville just initiated that mask fine. And this is what I've noticed. And this is not specific to Edwardsville. This is everybody. If you are somebody who is saying, just wear a mask and you won't have to pay a fine, okay, I understand that sentiment. But the question that gets put into play here is, where does the government get to, or where does the government have to stop in threatening you to behave the way they say that they want you to behave? And is the way that you are supposed to behave, is the only way to do that right is through government overreach to make you do that? Many people believe, at least in the social media end zone where everybody is spiking their football, many people believe that if you oppose the government saying, you will wear this mask or I will fine you. And if a business allows somebody to come in and they are not cooperating, we are doubling the fines for the business. Why would these businesses stay open? They're struggling as much as they possibly, like they're trying to do everything they can right now, and they are struggling to stay afloat. And now they've got COVID against them. And now they have the threat of people coming in and saying, you're not complying, we're going to slap you with a $500 fine. You think these businesses that aren't open, or these businesses that could be open and serving carry out, or bars that could be serving, carry out, that maybe don't even serve really food. You think that they can afford $500 fines for some jerk who wants to come in and make a point? If they're asked to wear a mask, like if you go into an establishment and they ask you to put on a mask, you're on that business's property. You wear the mask. You don't have to go there if you don't want to wear a mask. It's a choice that you have, and the businesses have these choices. But when you have COVID fighting against these businesses staying afloat, and now you have government structure coming in and fighting against these businesses to stay afloat, now you have all social media is an end zone. There's no field. Mm-hmm. There's no conversation. There's no, let's get the ball from the 40-yard line to the 20-yard line and see if we can make some progress right here. And if it doesn't work on this and we give it our best effort, we'll punt and we'll try again. There is none of that. It's all the end zone. And everybody has their own football and everybody has their own uniform. The score is 1 bazillion to 1 bazillion. I don't know who's winning. Everybody feels like they're losing, which is why they're still in the end zone trying to find more balls to spike, if you know what I mean. Here's the big misconception. Here's the thing that really frustrates me. 2 repeat arguments that I'm seeing. If you are against the government mandates or the government instituted fines for mask wearing, then you inherently are not a mask wearer and you are opposed to masks. That's not accurate. You can be somebody who wears a mask everywhere you go. You can wish that everybody else was wearing a mask everywhere they went and still be against government overreach. Though that is absolutely empirically possible, and I would consider the fact that it's likely. Government overreach is wrong. And just because you feel as though you don't want to wear a mask, that doesn't mean that you still won't do it so that you could go patronize a business that needs your business. It's the government overreach that's the issue. And labeling and assuming all of these things about one another helps nobody. The second thing that I see is that it immediately goes into politics, and I see so many people on the left saying, well, the Republicans in the Senate are the ones stalling COVID relief, and if like people telling me specifically, like I should use my platform to lobby Republicans in the Senate to pass the COVID relief that the House passed. I don't want them to pass the COVID relief that the House passed. I don't like the relief bill that came out of the House. I don't want that to be put into law. I want a better bill that focuses on the key things that need to be helped, that doesn't spend all of my grandchildren's money. And the Senate has tried multiple times to pass something, and the Democrats haven't played ball. So it's a matter of Republicans not working with Democrats in the House. And I will remind you that the only bipartisanship that occurred in the House was people opposing it. Democrats voted against that bill that Nancy Pelosi got passed. Only Democrats voted for it, and they had enough in there right now that it managed to pass the House. And in the Senate, Democrats don't want to play ball there. So it's Republicans and Democrats who can't come together in Capitol Hill and get a bill done for people like you. For these businesses on Main Street in Edwardsville that need you to go there so that they can stay afloat, because they're real people. They are your neighbors. They sit next to you in church. They stream church with you. They go to your Little League football games. They bank at the same local bank that you do. They need our help now more than ever. Otherwise, their livelihood is on the line. And when their business goes down and the business next to theirs goes down, the quality of your town goes down. These businesses are at the epicenter of a crisis, and the crisis is not just COVID, folks. That's not the only thing that we can look at when we're addressing what it means to be existing on December 7th in 2020. COVID is real. COVID needs to be fought against. COVID needs to be, you need to take measures. You need to work hard to make sure that you're doing what you can to slow the spread. But it's not the only thing that's hurting people right now. Businesses are on the edge. And if they go away, their livelihood goes away. Mental health is the biggest issue, in my opinion, health issue outside of directly getting COVID if you have a certain amount of comorbidities to people's health right now. And I feel like those lasting effects won't be known until we get further on past this thing. It's not as simple as saying, wear your mask and we will stop this. It's not that simple. That also doesn't mean that maybe you shouldn't just wear a mask. It's never as simple as everybody standing in their own end zone, spiking their own football to make their own point. And guess what? You have a party of one cheering for you. We all do. Party of one. Nobody wins that way. And as a matter of fact, we all lose. I'm going to talk about mask wearing with Dr. Scott Hardeman when we come back. I'm going to ask him about the benefits of it. I'm going to ask him about the difference between me standing in Walmart and Target yesterday doing some Christmas shopping and me being able to go into some boutiques and shop local. Why is it different? Why is this so hard for people to understand? We're going to take your questions as well. So join us on our Facebook Live and the Annie Frey YouTube page. And if you got comments, I know I probably said something that offended everybody there, which means I'm probably standing in my own end zone. And I'm going to go get a football and I'm going to spike it right here in my studio. Hopefully it doesn't bounce funny. We'll be back in a minute.
I was born without this fear. Now only this seems clear.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
I need to lose myself tonight.
Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
I'm gonna take you down. Go with me now. I'm gonna show you how.
Hi, George Weber. Check out my alter ego, Skip Weber, every Saturday night, 9 to 11, the Saturday Evening Rock Show, the greatest rock and roll show on a talk station in the world. Don't miss it.
It's time to take care of those drafty windows. Yes, the ones that are leaking that cool air, and now it's getting to be cold air into your home. Those vinyl windows have been with your house probably since it was built, and it's time to replace them. How about Lakeside Renovation and Design's exclusive access to Infinity windows? These are fiberglass replacement windows, and they are 8 times stronger than vinyl. They will give you a bigger view. The frames are smaller. It's a more luxurious look. And you can choose from ebony windows, which are a really popular option right now and newly available. And they also have other different finishes for you to choose from. If you have lots of interior and exterior colors to choose from, you can coordinate the hardware color options as well to match the rest of your home. They are resistant to leaks, seal failures, and stress cracks, all things that can affect energy efficiency. Call them at 636-978-5000. That's 636-978-5000. Reach out to Lakeside Renovation Design to get those leaky windows fixed today.
Attention St. Louis homeowners. Are you looking to sell your house without all the stress? Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis can buy your house cash and close on your timeline. No commissions, no repairs, no appraisals, no showings, no headache. Call Chris now, 314-782-7000, or go online to chrisbuysHomesSTL.com to get a free no-obligation cash offer for your house. Behind on payments? The tenant stopped paying the rent? The house needs too many repairs? Not a problem. Chris buys houses in any condition and deals with any situation. There is a reason why Chris Buys Homes is the most trusted home buyer in St. Louis. Go online to get your offer today. chrisbuysHomesSTL.com or call 314-782-7000. That's 314-782-7000.
Guys, 2020 has been a rough year on everyone, and that includes your wife or girlfriend. So spoil her this Christmas by treating her to some rest and relaxation with the world's softest pajamas, exclusively from Pajamagram, America's PJ experts for nearly 20 years. She'll love the way the world's softest pajamas feel, and you'll love the way they look. They're silky smooth on the outside, soft like a baby bunny on the inside, to wrap her in warmth and comfort all winter long. Just the ticket for melting away her stress and helping her to relax and restore after a long day and year. And right now, when you order today, you'll get a great deal. Free gift packaging. That means you don't have to wrap a thing. Get her the world's softest pajamas and get your free gift packaging today before this deal disappears. Just go to pajamagram.com. It's fast, easy, and delivery by Christmas is guaranteed. That's pajamagram.com.
Jewels on Hampton and St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches on site. Jewels on Hampton is a premier jeweler featuring Alvanza's jewel art designs with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jewels on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches. Bring in your collectibles and clocks and sports memorabilia and figurines too. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa, and jewelsonhampton.com. Call them at 314-752-5000, 314-752-5000, and jewelsonhampton.com. Jewels on Hampton.
If it's bumper to bumper or smooth sailing, Sue Thomas has you covered with dependable traffic. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company, the best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor.
Coming out of my cage and I've been doing just fine. Gotta be down because I want it all. It started out with a kiss, how did it end up like this? It was only a kiss, it was only a kiss.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Thank you for joining us today. Happy Monday. Monday. Do Mondays in December feel different to you because it's like, ooh, it's Christmas. It's a holiday Monday.
Man, not really. They feel actually no way. They actually feel really, really long because we're at that final stretch of the end of the year.
Yeah.
And they always say that the Mondays, the weeks I should say, between Thanksgiving and Christmas just seem to last a lifetime.
Because you're
every
thinking
day
about
feels different in December, Annie. Every day.
You're thinking about vacations, you're thinking about time off, you're thinking about the things you need to do.
Yes.
Man.
All of the above.
Well, some of the stuff you got to do is shopping. I did a little bit of that last night, and I went out and about in some of Edwardsville, Glen Carbon area, wore my mask like I'm supposed to, and saw a lot of other people doing the same. And I'm going to talk to Dr. Scott Hardeman here about mask wearing. And I like to talk to Dr. Hardeman about stuff like this because as a doctor, we just get the medical perspective of it. And it's very hard to go anywhere these days and get a non-political, just give me the medicine part of this. And Dr. Scott Hardeman does this with us each Monday. He's a physician at Gateway ENT and Urgent Specialists. Dr. Hardeman, so mask wearing. I want to ask you specifically, if it were up to you, if you got to make the decision for everybody, would everybody be wearing a mask regardless right now? Is it just easier to slow the spread if we all just wore our masks and got on with our business? Is that your position?
That's a great question to open up with for certain. This is so politicized. Obviously, it's hard to get past all of that. I think in the reality, it is quite frankly just easier to, if you're going out in public and be in close contact with other people, wear a mask. We've talked over the months just about the social aspect of that we almost have this mask shaming concept that if you don't wear a mask, you're kind of looked at as the pariah. So I think the reality is that masks have been shown in some studies to be very effective. In other studies, that's been questioned. I think it really boils down to the nature of the source control versus the person wearing the mask as a protectant for them. So the vast majority of people are going to be wearing cloth masks or these relatively inexpensive quasi-medical grade masks that are out there. And those are helpful at blocking large droplet transmission. So if someone is coughing or sick and doing that, it obviously does slow the transmission. The aerosolized component of this, it probably passes through a lot of these non-medical grade masks. But if you're cutting down on the amount of viral load, and the exposure time that you are to another person, if you're the infected person, they do seem to decrease the transmissibility of the illness itself.
So, doctor, the thing that I think is interesting about this is, for instance, let's use Katie as an example. She's had COVID and she's not contagious anymore. She's tested negative. It's been weeks since she was positive. It seems to me like if she were to go out without a mask, she wouldn't be a threat to anybody else. But the people who see her don't know that.
That's right.
So it causes some consternation in how people view Katie. So it's to that point, it seems as though mask wearing is a very helpful thing to do. Although for everybody, it's not equally helpful when that mask is being put on. So the idea for everyone to do it is really so that we lay off of each other a little bit more than it is medically necessary for every single person, because everybody's circumstances are different. It is just the easiest thing to do, maybe for our mental health as much as our physical health.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think you've kind of hit the nail on the head. I think every particular situation is different. It depends on if you want to explain yourself that I've had it and I've had my antibodies checked and it's only been a few weeks, and so I'm not really capable of getting this or transmitting it again for the foreseeable future, and that gets to be cumbersome to do that. I think if it's something that generally the way to get through this, I wouldn't necessarily say over it completely, because as we talked, I think this is ultimately going to be something that is just fairly commonplace that we see cycles of this year by year. But to get through this, I think it's not just as simple as putting all of our attention on the masks. It's a multifaceted approach. But doing that, our public health officials, I do sometimes think that we're at this point and these things are, we don't understand everything about how illness is transmitted. And so there's an attempt to do something. And with wearing masks help to mitigate some spread of the illness or to make people more acutely aware of their situation. There is validity to that. And then I think you just have to be conscious of the mask wearer, that is, has to be conscious of how they handle those masks, how they change them over frequently. And, if you're coughing and hacking and sick, it's still best to not be out in public and just avoid the whole process altogether.
Dr. Hardeman, I've been seeing a lot about vitamin D in its relation to COVID deaths, that the vast majority of people who die with COVID seem to have low vitamin D levels. If we're just trying to stay healthy and ahead of everything, is taking a multivitamin with D in it going to be the best way to do that?
Yeah, that's something that really, it surfaced way back in the spring. And I think initially when there just weren't a lot of cases of this, people sort of poo-pooed it to some degree and thought, well, we don't really know just yet. But it has been studied pretty extensively now, and it certainly seems like there's a strong association between low vitamin D levels. Initially, there was some question mark of maybe this illness would kind of move northern hemisphere versus southern hemisphere based upon sun exposure and the population, and the levels of vitamin D that you have. I'm not so sure that that's necessarily been validated at this point, but certainly vitamin D low levels do seem to be associated with poorer outcomes. So a multivitamin that is fortified with vitamin D, if you're healthy, eating a well-balanced diet, taking a multivitamin every day, that goes a long way to supplementing your immune system, taking vitamin C, taking zinc on a daily basis too. Those are all things that help boost your immune system. And if you do contract this, which is highly likely that most of us are going to at some point, you're going to have a better outcome overall.
Doctor, I want to go over, I don't think we've asked you this in a few weeks, and I think it's a good refresher to have this discussion every once in a while. What are the comorbidities that we know about at this point? What makes you high risk, and maybe at the same time, what causes you to be low risk?
Well, age is not a comorbidity, but it is obviously the outcomes are clearly worse in the older population. Obesity is a huge factor that seems to be a major comorbidity, as well as diabetes, and an overall status of your immune system as well. So people who are immunocompromised potentially have poor outcomes. But hypertension, diabetes, or high blood pressure diabetes, and obesity seem to be very common ones associated with it, the poor outcomes.
So is it something that should affect how you participate in life? If you have higher comorbidities, I know, there have been other situations during the course of time where if you were capable, you should, while other people who were incapable should maybe not, depending on whatever the issue is that we're talking about. If you feel as though you're a healthy person and you're not in one of those higher risk levels, is it good to still participate in commerce, to participate in life, to, go out and patronize a restaurant, to carry out or curbside or whatever you choose to do? Or is it better for everybody to just stay home?
Well, you probably know from just talking with me over the months that my position on lockdowns and the impact on society, I just don't really think that you can completely put life on hold. I think there's an element of knowing that we live in a world where we're going to be exposed to these types of things, and it's sort of a risk-benefit analysis. And I think people who are healthy and do the right things and don't go out when they're sick and try and protect them and their family, life goes on, and we have to participate in that. Having said that, I think generally people who are of poor health, who have these comorbid issues, nursing home population, those that are older, they do need to take more precautions and limit their exposure to other people, try and avoid large gatherings, and try and avoid being in close proximity to people, especially those that might have some sort of respiratory illness like that. But for the vast majority of people, I think using some common sense, trying to adhere to good hygiene and monitoring the things that we've been discussing, I think life goes on. You have to get out and you have to have a healthy respect of this and what to do, but you can't be so fearful of it that you stay home. And unless that's what your level of concern and anxiety is associated with, I think the world just keeps moving on, and we have to try and learn to live along with this.
Dr. Scott Hardeman is physician at Gateway ENT and urgent specialist, joining us every Monday. Dr. Hardeman, I've seen many statistics that say that the death rate in the United States due to COVID is higher than in most other parts of the world. I wanted to ask you that based on the comorbidities. Is that because we have a population that is more overweight, or are we just able to keep better records than the rest of the world?
Well, it's probably a combination of all those things. I don't think anyone really knows the answer to that just yet, of why one population, meaning country, seems to get impacted more than the other with this. You could certainly make the argument that as a nation, we have some other health-related issues, and obesity is sort of an epidemic issue in this country, and that definitely factors into it. But I think over time, dust will clear from this a little bit, and we'll get a clearer picture of that overall. It's just hard to know at this point.
Doctor, we're going to take a quick break. We've got a lot of people commenting questions that they would like to ask you, so stick around. We'll be with you here in just a minute. If you would like to submit a question for Dr. Hardeman, again, we'll try to use this each Monday to start the week off with straight facts from a medical position on COVID. And if you have questions, if you've heard something, if there's a rumor going around that you want to try to get some clarity on, if you have a question about your particular situation in general, I would love to ask that question. Ryan and I will be looking at the chat on the Andy Frey Show Facebook page and the Andy Frey YouTube page and asking those questions of Dr. Scott Hardeman when we return. Don't go away.
And it's all in my head, but she's touching his chest now. He takes off her dress now.
The Andy Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gsl.honorflight.org. And for free HVAC estimates, visit aircomfortservice.com. Thomas Helbig and the Retirement Advisory Group waiting for you to reach out and call them and figure out what you're going to do about retirement. You're very close to it now. You've been saving and saving and saving all of your career, and you want to make sure that money is going to be there to work hard for you. Thomas Helbig would like to offer you a no-cost, no-obligation retirement review. 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494. Reach out to Thomas Helbig and schedule that no-cost, no-obligation retirement review today. He's going to show you strategies that they use to protect your retirement savings. He'll also show you how to share in the growth whenever the market recovers. And just for coming in, you're going to get a copy of his best-selling book. He gives this to everybody who comes in for that free consultation, and it covers a ton of things that he goes over in his educational events and more. Call him at 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494. You can visit him online to learn more about Retirement Advisory Group at retirementkey.com.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at ThrottleNet.com. So it's crazy time at ThrottleNet. They are IT geniuses, but they are a little bit nutty. Right now, they will pay you $250 for a conversation about your IT support because they value your time during the crazy pandemic. They'll give you the first 30 days for free, no charge for all of their services. And then they'll pay you another $1,000 if you decide to leave in the first 30 days for your trouble. They don't anticipate that you're going to leave, but if you do, they'll shake your hand, they'll put you back where you were, and they'll write you a check for $1,000. It is completely no risk, and they reward you for your time and for your effort. They are the best IT shop in the city, named number 1 5 years straight. They are good guys. Like I said, they are geniuses at protecting you, but they can communicate. They don't stare at their shoes. They look you in the eye, and they tell you what you need to know. ThrottleNet.com/971.
Are you tired of feeling sick and tired? I'm Dr. Nick Barnes of Health From Within Family Chiropractic. Our simple 5-step approach aligns your health naturally. We correct spinal abnormalities to maximize nerve supply, focus on pure and simple nutrition, exercise and oxygen, mindset, and minimizing toxins in your body. Transform your health today with Health From Within, conveniently located on Manchester in Rock Hill or online at healthfromwithinstl.com.
Mark Cox here for my friends at Pretzel Stop. You've heard me talking about Pretzel Stop for a while now. They're right there on Jungerman Road, just off Highway 94 next to Kohl's and across from Walmart. And Tony and his team are doing a great job. They've got an enormous variety of brats and sausages stuffed into a pretzel bun. But Pretzel Stop's about a lot more than that. They've got gourmet sandwiches, the chicken salad pretzel sandwich. They've got gourmet burgers on a pretzel bun, barbecue on that warm pretzel bun, and even pretzel pizza. And they've got pretzel bites that are out of this world. Do yourself a favor and stop by there. They've got desserts like fruit smoothies and sinful sundaes, and they've got you covered. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, catering. They can even customize the shape of pretzels for parties. So for more information, check them out online. You can find them at pretzelstop.com or at 1650 Jungerman Road in St. Peters.
As a patriot and a mechanic, I know the difference between a symbol and a tool. The American flag is a symbol of everything I'd die to defend. My mask is a tool. It says nothing about my politics. I wear it to protect the people I love from COVID-19. We have a job to do, and a mask is the right tool for that job. Use the tools. Mask up and keep your distance. Brought to you by the Coalition for Healthy Missouri Communities.
You can listen to 97.1 on the radio or online with no big tech censorship. Just download the app, stream it online, or say it to your smart speaker. 97.1 FM Talk. Free and fair.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We've got Dr. Scott Hardeman on with us, as we do each Monday. And Doctor, I want to start out asking you a question about eating indoors, restaurants, we've seen lots of measures be taken by these owners, spacing people apart, limiting how many people can be in general. People say it's science that it spreads more in restaurants, I guess, because people have to take their masks off to eat. And then other people tell us it's science that says it doesn't spread more in restaurants. I'm curious what your research has shown you about the dangers of eating indoors in restaurants, specifically where they have taken into account some of those CDC regulations.
Sure. I think the restaurant situation, I heard kind of in your run-up, you were talking about shopping in one place versus another as well. And I think the restaurant situation is unique in that masks do come off. And so if you have the illness and are pre-symptomatic, and certainly if you're sick and out and about, there's more likelihood that you're going to pass some viral particles into the environment that could be picked up by someone else. But, most of the restaurants, when they do have indoor seating, are certainly trying to space people out. Many have taken steps to increase ventilation or even air purification. And we have, in municipalities, one versus the other, St. Louis City, St. Louis County, Jefferson County, et cetera, they have different rules and regulations. The theory is that when you're in a restaurant, obviously you're eating, you're communicating and talking quite a bit with the people that you're with, and that there's just more potential to pass virus around. That's the CDC, sort of identifies that as a potential contagion point of view.
This question comes from Arlene from our Facebook page. She says, is anyone looking into the long-term devastation on the lungs, or is there effect on the lungs from prolonged mask wearing?
Yes, there has been quite a bit of research to that, and the folks that are sort of in the anti-mask category have talked about what happens to folks that wear a mask if you're asthmatic, if you're playing sports, et cetera. Is there potential that the mask inhibits oxygenation or other issues? I don't know that anyone has looked very closely at potential fibers or inhalation or other things that could potentially be picked up from lower quality masks or other issues yet. I think generally speaking, those of us in the medical world spend an awful lot of time in masks regardless of that. And I think overall, there's not any dramatic impact on overall health status. But we're seeing this on a totally new level, right? So I think over time, there may be some issues that would arise, or at least be studied if there's potential for chronic lung inflammation or other problems. To my knowledge, there's nothing that's been directly linked to mask wearing just yet as far as chronic or long-term issues with it, though.
Speaking with Dr. Scott Hardeman right now, taking listener questions. I have a question on Facebook from Joe. He says, are asymptomatic people always going to be asymptomatic when they catch COVID, or can you show symptoms one time and another not? So if you're labeled an asymptomatic person, do you have to always be asymptomatic?
No, I would say no. I think the assumption there is that you would have the illness and never really manifest symptoms of it, or be one of these asymptomatic folks. And then if you were to catch this again at some point in the future, could you be symptomatic? I think is where that direction that question went. And the answer is every particular illness or flare-up of that can be different. There is still back and forth evidence about the likelihood of catching these things a second time. We're starting now would be the time we would start to see more evidence of that, because we're 6, 8, 10 months, maybe even a year, if you read some studies into this particular illness. And so long-term immunity, we'll have to determine that to just see if what the protective effect is. But in theory, it could kind of go either way. You could have carryover antibodies, even if there's a slight shift in or mutation in the virus itself. You do have some immunity that helps to protect against that, just like there's been some theories that having some other common cold or coronavirus in the past may potentially limit the severity of the illness now. So I think every particular phase of the illness can be a little bit different, but there are 1 or 2 reported cases where round 2 was milder, and there were 1 or 2 reported cases where round 2 was a little more significant than the other. And I still think that's highly suspect and still being investigated, and just, again, one of the other unknowns about this.
Question for Dr. Hardeman from David on Facebook. If a person has recovered from COVID-19 or was vaccinated, will additional exposures down the line act as boosters to their acquired immunity?
Not likely as a booster to that. It depends on the exposure level, I would assume. And this really gets into the nuances of the vaccines themselves, or of having the illness one time around, and how your body recognizes that to be able to develop a second immune response if you're exposed to that. Dr. Fauci was a month or 2 ago was on the news talking about how that the vaccines won't prevent you from getting the illness. They may just mitigate some of the symptoms and make it less severe. And then they kind of retracted that statement and said the goal is to have these blocking antibodies or neutralizing antibodies that would really stop an infection from having a chance to sort of take hold. So I think having an exposure later on, if you've already got a pretty robust immune response to it, in theory, it really shouldn't have a huge impact on your immune system, unless we find that immunity tends to waver a little bit, and you can almost look at an exposure like you would a booster vaccine at that point.
Denise on Facebook asks, with wearing the masks and staying home, are we weakening our immune system?
Well, there's a lot of people that talk about that. I think kids that are not in school or wearing a lot of masks this time of year is usually our practice is just inundated with kids with respiratory infections, and we're really not seeing that. And talking with some of my pediatric colleagues, that seems to be the case as well. But as far as weakening your immune system, I would generally say no. I think our immune system is very clever at recognizing new and old offending agents and ramping up a response fairly quickly. So if you were to sensitize an entire generation or long-term non-exposure to illnesses, then potentially it would be an issue. But if these are short-term periods of time, I would say that it doesn't do anything to your immune system as far as weakening it.
Dr. Scott Hardeman on the phone with us, physician at Gateway ENT and urgent specialist. A question from Janet on Facebook. I have family members who have recovered from COVID. Why haven't their doctors said anything to them about collecting antibodies from them?
That's a good question. I think that's always at the discretion of the individual if they choose to donate convalescent plasma. I think that's done through the Red Cross, if I'm not mistaken, and they have a fairly strict criteria of checking antibody levels, seeing what they are, and going forward. I don't know necessarily that that's something that their physician would recommend to them, but it's certainly out there and available. And I know of people and colleagues that have done that where they've reached out directly to the Red Cross to see if they could be potential donors.
So when I'm looking through a lot of these questions, a lot of people are asking about mask wearing. Can you just give us a really, really brief understanding of what constitutes a good mask and what doesn't?
I think if you're going to go to the effort to wear a mask, if you have the capacity to get these sort of medical grade masks, not N95 masks necessarily, but just a slightly better quality filtration mechanism, they're quick and easy to put on. My concern, I think, with just the cloth mask, which again, Dr. Fauci and the CDC has said, a simple cloth mask is better than nothing. That may be true, but I just wonder how frequently these are being laundered and maintained. And we've all seen folks out there where the masks are pretty grungy, quite honestly, and I think they need to be kept clean. And so the disposable ones, we change those over frequently in our office with each of our docs and all the staff as well. I think they're good for a few days or so, but they're much more readily available now. They're easy to put on. I think if I had a preference, I would suggest that people kind of look at that type of mask. But if there's no other options available, a cloth mask or something aftermarket that has some sort of filtration mechanism to it is probably ideal.
From our YouTube page, Tony asks, how can you tell if you've had it? And if you do the blood test, how far back does it go? I keep seeing that it leaves your system after a couple months.
Yeah, I would assume they're referring to the antibody levels at that point. So the viral tests, like an antigen test or a PCR test, are really, in theory, only going to be positive around that time when you're acutely ill. The PCR tests, there's good evidence to suggest that they can still pick up inactive or dead viral particles for a relatively prolonged period of time afterwards. So potentially could test positive, but you would no longer be contagious at that point. But if you're trying to survey your system to see if that cold I had 2 months ago was coronavirus, an antibody level is the way to do that. And those tests are available, some off of finger stick and others off of drawing blood, which are probably a bit more accurate because they can concentrate the antibodies. Those antibody levels, this is kind of to the crux of the issue of how long your initial immunity lasts at this. And again, no one has a real clear-cut answer to that just yet. Most studies are suggesting 4 to 6 months that those antibody levels are detectable. And there's that early phase that pops up within the first few days to a couple of weeks of the illness called the IgM. And then your late phase antibodies, the IgG, comes up a little bit later, and that's the one that lingers longer, and those can stay sustained for quite some time. So those are typically what are tested in most of the antibody tests that are out there.
Dr. Hardeman, Alan on Facebook asks, if our mortality rate in the United States is higher because some deaths are listed as dying from COVID versus dying with COVID?
Well, this really gets talked about a lot because there was a statement made 2 or 3 months ago that talked about us. It was only 6. I think the number was 6% of these illnesses attributed to COVID were truly COVID deaths. In reality, that was saying that was the single causative factor associated with it. But I don't think there's a whole lot of evidence that there's a massive amount of overcoding. The folks that are dying, of COVID-related complications, whether their actual cause of death at that moment was some sort of pneumonia or organ failure or other issue that would put them in the hospital, was their coronavirus, and that would be how that is coded. So I don't think we see a big change in the numbers based upon inappropriate coding associated with that, although there's been some back and forth discussions, and that may flush out over a period of time too, just like it does with influenza and pneumonias related to that, and other types of respiratory illnesses.
Doctor, I only have less than a minute left here, but I want to ask you, I like to ask you this every once in a while, your opinion. Are you hopeful for what we have to come with vaccines? a lot of people suggesting that we're about to face some of the hardest months that we've ever endured here in the next few months. What's your attitude about the virus right now?
Well, I think the numbers, at least in St. Louis area, are declining a bit. The state of Missouri is up, but it's different region by region. I think from a good perspective is that vaccines are on the near horizon, and that will definitely help. It's going to be some time before they're widely accepted and widely able to be distributed, but every bit of this helps if you start to slow down the chains of transmission. As far as what the winter holds, it's difficult to know for certain, other than it's just complicated that we're also rolling into cold and flu season as well, and those things tend to cloudy the waters a bit. But I'm still optimistic that that this is going to run its course, and we'll get some vaccines out there, and we'll be having a different conversation come springtime here for sure.
Looking forward to that. Dr. Scott Hardeman, always a pleasure to have you on the show with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Physician at Gateway ENT, also urgent specialist. If you need urgent care, you need urgent specialists. Check them out online at urgentspecialist.com. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to check the health of the economy when we come back with Stephen Moore and see what he thinks about the direction we're headed economically. Don't go away. Hair Salon for Men believes that men deserve better. And if you are looking for a perfect haircut, get on to hairsaloon.com. Find the location nearest you. They have a ton of locations. And figure out what time you're going to make your appointment. These folks are going to give you a perfect haircut every time, and you're going to look forward to your next opportunity to go back and choose Hair Salon for Men again for you. A complimentary beverage with each haircut, a relaxing shampoo, hot towel, and mint, complimentary shoe shine, and they have their classic haircut all the way up to their signature stress relief service. The Hair Salon is going to build a comfortable and relaxing environment for you. And my favorite part, a 25% discount on services all day and every day for veterans, active duty military, and first responders. It's hairsaloon.com is the website. You can go there and visit to see all of their locations, the different types of haircuts that they give, like the premium, executive, signature stress relief, and straight razor shave. And you can again see all of those locations. Find the one that's the closest to you and get that perfect haircut scheduled at your convenience. Visit them online. It's hairsaloon.com.
Another reading from the Golden Oak Lending Book of Mortgage Lingo. What is a cash out refinance? It's doing a cannonball from your porch.
Watch out!
That new car smell. A new college graduate in the family.
With a BA in business and a minor in medieval Renaissance poetry.
Reading the words, paid in full.
Woohoo! Did it!
At Golden Oak Lending, we speak mortgage and love translating it for our customers. Right now, rates are at a low 2.5%. Call 314-567-GOLD or visit us online at goldenoaklending.com and talk with an experienced local loan officer who will guide you every step of the way. NMLS 114937, 2.5% fixed, 2.655% APR on conventional 15-year mortgage with 30% equity and approved credit. 111 West Port Plaza, St. Louis, Missouri.
Tony LaRussa here. Men, are you running out of stamina rounding third base? If so, call my friends at Victory Men's Health in O'Fallon, Illinois. Scoring at home is important, just as important as crossing the plate with the winning run. VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly. Have you locked in on your refinance yet? What are you waiting for? Mortgage rates are still in the twos, but you need to get locked in now. You could be saving hundreds, even thousands of dollars a month. And how nice would it be to pay off all the credit cards and have cash in the bank? Get pre-approved for whatever lies ahead with a simple refinance. Apply online today with our 5-minute loan approval, only available at thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
This Christmas season, 97.1 FM Talk invites you to Lot of Lights. It's an all-new, state-of-the-art drive-through light display. KFTK FM Florissant, K254CR St. Louis, driven by the Bommarito Automotive Group. 97.1 FM Talk, a radio.com station.
Much of California is back where it started. Lisa Brady, Fox News. A shutdown similar to the start of the pandemic, now in effect for most state residents, as Governor Gavin Newsom points to a continued rise in COVID cases. Fox's Gernal Scott has more live.
Lisa, Governor Newsom says daily case numbers are concerning.
Just over the last 3 days, we've averaged roughly 25,000 cases. 7-day
just shy of 22,000.
With over 10,000 patients currently in hospitals, Newsom assures residents they have equipment available.
We've been active not only procuring the masks and other PPE, but also ventilators.
That update comes in conjunction with new stay-at-home orders in regions of the state that affect 33 million Californians. Lisa.
Well, Gernal, some restaurant owners are fighting rules they call arbitrary, including Angela Marsden in L.A., whose outdoor dining was shut down first just before Thanksgiving, even as the mall stayed open for Black Friday. Congress playing beat the clock, trying to avoid a government shutdown as the search continues for common ground on COVID relief.
Congressional negotiators are working on a potential compromise coronavirus relief deal totaling more than $900 billion that would include renewed small business aid, unemployment insurance, and funding for state and local governments. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell both say it is now likely any COVID relief is merged with a $1.5 trillion spending bill needed to prevent a government shutdown Friday night.
Fox's Jared Halpern on Capitol Hill. White House economic advisor Larry Kudlow tells the Washington Post there will be a peaceful transfer of power, even though election court fights continue. President Trump telling reporters today.
I think the case has been made, and now we find out what we can do about it. But you'll see a lot of big things happening over the next couple of days.
No courts have verified any claims of widespread fraud. America is listening to Fox News.
Dell Technologies' end-of-year sale is the perfect time to upgrade tech for your business. Save big on the latest computers powered by Intel Core processors for your small business. And don't forget to shop servers, storage, and thousands of top brand electronics, all with free shipping. Call a Dell Technologies advisor who can help you find the right tech for your business needs at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
At home with Robert, retired burglar and family man.
Carolers! That's the holiday spirit. Speaking of which, Simply Safe Home Security is having a huge holiday sale. Right now, you can get 40% off a new system and a free camera at simplysafe.com/holiday. That's 40% off the system U.S. News named the best of 2020. Simply Safe protects your whole home 24/7 with monitoring by professionals. The sale ends soon, so go to simplysafe.com/holiday for 40% off and a free camera today.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Looking for a mix of clouds and sunshine on this Monday afternoon, but it stays chilly. 45 will do it for the high tonight. Clear and cold down to 28. Tuesday, lots of sunshine, 49 degrees. Plenty of sunshine, looking for a high of 59, 60 each day, Wednesday and Thursday. Warmest part of the week will be Wednesday, Thursday. Warmest part of the day around 2 o'clock. Rain coming in on Friday. This is 97.1 FM Talk Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Hey guys, Glover here. If you are nearing retirement or already retired, call Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group at 314-993-9494. He'll show you how to participate in the market gains without ever losing a penny. Thomas is the official financial advisor of the DGS.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, healthcare, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, the 9 critical decisions when retiring before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
What a year this has been. For St. Patrick Center clients, pandemic worries are magnified. How to pay rent, find a job, buy groceries, care for children, and more. St. Patrick Center programs and services are needed now more than ever. This holiday season, help prevent homelessness in our community. Your gift helps keep a family safe at home. To donate, visit stpatrickcenter.org. Thanks to you, veterans, families, and individuals will be home for the holidays.
It's time for your garage door winter maintenance with Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. The 26-point tune-up is just $89.95. That's one price for up to 3 garage doors and openers. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, trusted by homeowners just like you since 1926. Don't be fooled by others with a similar name. Always look for the genuine, the original Red Ribbon of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Schedule online at overheaddoorstlouis.com or call 314-781-5200.
You don't have to put your love on hold. Make your purchase with the Shane Company credit card, and you'll receive a free jewelry travel case while supplies last. Now you have a friend in the jewelry business, Shane Company and shaneco.com.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents and Doug.
Fasten your seatbelts, folks. We'll be prepared for takeoff.
Limu, how cool is this? Your first time flying. Oh, I didn't mean... Listen, Limu, you might not be able to fly, but you do something even cooler. You tell strangers that Liberty Mutual customizes their car insurance so they only pay for what they need.
Sir, do you have a certificate for your service bird?
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Get a customized quote at libertymutual.com.
Napa know-how.
Right now, get a 5-quart jug of Napa full synthetic motor oil and a platinum filter for just $22.98. They're an iconic duo like Salt and Pepper, a hammer and a nail, or the holidays and awkward hugs. You can't get one without the other. That's Napa full synthetic and a platinum filter for just $22.98. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
General States pricing. Sales prices not include applicable state, local taxes, or recycling fees. Offer ends 12/31/20.
You can listen to 97.1 on radio.com through your smart speaker. It's information with perspective. Just ask it to play 97.1 FM Talk. Powered by Dell Technologies. Call 877-ASK-DELL. The Annie Frey Show is sponsored by Forensic IT, the tech experts that find the root cause of your technical problems. ForensicIT.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, Dad. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
You know, the American people don't want a handout, but they understand that this pandemic is now ravaging this country, worse today than ever before. They need help to get their feet back on, their feet back on, standing up so they can take care of their kids.
So, okay, Americans don't want a handout. But Bernie Sanders seems to be really a big advocate for governmental handouts. It's kind of like his policy on everything. I'd love to hear what Stephen Moore thinks of this. Stephen Moore joins us each Monday. He's a senior economic contributor at Freedom Works. The Bernie Sanders plan is no handouts, but they want to understand that the pandemic is ravaging the country. Stephen, if Bernie Sanders were in charge of COVID relief right now, what would that look like?
Hi, Annie. Well, let's start with the big picture here, which is, we got this jobs report out on Friday with 340,000 private sector jobs added, which is a lot. And so just to give you a perspective of how good that number is, I'm going to do a little quiz for you guys today. In 8 years under Obama, so that's 96 months, how many months do you think that Biden accomplished 340,000 private sector jobs or more?
Ooh, I'm going to just guess 0. I don't know.
You're pretty close. You're pretty close. The number's 1. One out of 96 months. Ooh. So the reason I bring that up, and by the way, the average number of jobs created per month by Obama-Biden was about 140 to 150,000. So this was well over twice as many as the average, and only one time did Obama get more than that. Now, I'm not trying to stick a finger in Obama's eye. I'm just simply making the point that if you read the the news reports this weekend, CNN, Washington Post, New York Times. I can't talk about your local, the media, but it was all, oh my gosh, the economy is floundering. We're right at the precipice of another economic disaster. I'm like, wait a minute, come on, 340,000 jobs? That's a great number. It's a very solid number. Now, yeah, obviously some small businesses are having to shut down again because of the pandemic and because of, in many cases, unnecessary lockdown orders by governors. But the idea that somehow, Biden is going to, ride in on his white horse and save the economy. I mean, Trump is doing that pretty well himself. Now, I'm sorry, I forgot your question. What was your original question?
Just in general, when we're looking at this Biden administration coming in here, the effect that Bernie Sanders and that far left might have on some of the policies he might put into place. I don't think we really know what Joe Biden is going to do. And Bernie Sanders saying that Americans don't want handouts. He's kind of the handout king. It's kind of the way he does business.
Look, I'm very worried about this. I think people are way too sanguine about, Biden being a moderate and, he's going to, govern from the middle and so on. I see no indications of that. I mean, he wants the biggest tax increase in history of the United States. He wants to re-regulate the United States. He wants to destroy an entire industry, our oil and gas industry, with something like 8 million workers attached to that. He's talking about, the left is talking about, packing the Supreme Court, ending the filibuster, adding Washington, D.C. as the 51st state, adding Puerto Rico as the 52nd state. I could go on and on and on. This is not he was saying on Friday, I watched a bit of his press conference in some degree of horror. I mean, he said not only did he support the $3 trillion Pelosi stimulus bill, which thank God Trump stopped, but he said, we need a stimulus now. And then he said in January, we're going to another $1 trillion stimulus bill. I mean, these are not moderate policies, folks. They just aren't. And I'm very worried about it because I think that especially if Republicans were not to win those Georgia seats and you get that murderer's row of basically, Biden as president, Pelosi as Speaker of the House, and Chuck Schumer as the Senate Majority Leader. I mean, there's nothing to hold these people back.
Stephen Moore is senior economic contributor at FreedomWorks. Stephen, obviously the biggest economic boost we could have right now would be to reopen the economy. But if there is going to be a stimulus bill passed, and let's say you were in charge of making sure just the basic essentials were in it, what would you make sure that what would you want in that stimulus bill?
Well, that's an easy question. And I've been saying this for 9 months, and I'm not very different from President Trump. I mean, you want something clean. You want something that gets instantly into the hands of small businesses and every worker in America, something that does not require a massive government bureaucracy where the money doesn't go to the politicians, to the workers. Yeah, I think you all can guess where I'm headed on this. We should just suspend the payroll tax for the next 4 months. I mean, how clean is that? It goes right to the workers, goes right to the small businesses. You don't have to have a government bureaucracy. It incentivizes people to work more because they get a rate of 7.5% pay raise for every additional hour they work. It incentivizes employers to hire more workers because their labor costs go down. It's so sensible that Washington will probably never do it, but that would be much, much smarter than $1 trillion for airline bailouts and for mayors and governors and, unemployment benefits to people. I mean, the best way to help unemployed people is get them a job.
Yeah, and that's always been the platform of conservative economic policies is job availability creates a good opportunity for employees to be, hot on the market. And it seems as though the solution for all of these issues that when Democrats are looking at them is, if you just put us into power, we'll take care of you for it. And there is a large contingent of Americans who are starting to be wooed by that. Does it concern you?
Yeah,
today?
I mean, that's a very, although, I'm of two minds about that, Annie. On the one hand, I mean, I share your worry. It is something to be worried about. But, my column this week was about how, there was actually a red wave of this election. And other than Trump narrow losing by basically a hair's width, Republicans won everywhere. They won state legislative seats all over the country. They run state Senate seats all over the country. Remember, Annie, when they said that Republicans are going to lose, 10 or 15 seats in the House? No, they actually gained 10 to 15 seats in the House. By the way, are you guys following the two seats that Democrats are trying to steal? One in New York and one in Iowa, even though they've done 2 recounts, and both of them have Republicans winning, and the Democrats are now saying we're going to take it to the House of Representatives and defy the will of the people and seat the Democrats. These are the people who say, how dare Donald Trump challenge the election? And they're overturning. I mean, you can't make this stuff up, right? So I still think, maybe I'm wrong about this, Annie, you guys, but I would love to, I still think it's a pretty conservative country. We want to value work. We want to help our small businesses. We, if someone is down on the luck, we want to give them a hand up, not a handout. But the idea that we're going to radically move to socialism and fire all the police and let the radical left run our country, I don't think the American people want that. I really don't.
Speaking of not knowing the outcome of elections, is the market right now responding in any way, either positively or negatively, to the turmoil of not knowing, or when good Biden news comes out, is it responding positively or negatively? Like overall, what's the picture there?
I think most, the 95% of investors realize that it's like very, very likely that Biden is going to be the president, and I think Trump is going to come back in 4 years. But I think that there's not a lot of worry. I think what the markets, quite frankly, are worried about is these races in Georgia are looking very tight right now, really tight. And I think that investors were really ecstatic that Republicans, it looked originally like the Republicans were going to hold the Senate, and now they've got these 2 seats that they have to hold in Georgia. I think that would be a disaster, a total disaster for markets, investors, and workers if Democrats were to win those 2 seats. Because, our whole system is based on checks and balances. And, I mean, can you imagine that? Can you imagine a Biden, Pelosi, Schumer lineup? I mean, it frightens me.
Yeah, that's the scariest outcome. It truly is. Stephen Moore, thank you so much for the time today. We always appreciate getting your insight here. It's always a breath of fresh air. Good to talk to you again.
All right, guys. Have a great week. Take care.
You as well. Stephen Moore is a senior economic contributor at FreedomWorks. He also has a book called Trumponomics: Inside the America First Plan to Revive Our Economy. He helped advise the 2016 Trump campaign and helped put together those Trump tax cuts, among other things that the president was able to do in his first term. Will there be a second one? I don't know. My attitude towards it has stayed the same. I'm leaning in and watching everything that's happening, but I just don't. I'm not there. It's like if I want it, if I dream it, if I believe it. Isn't that a song? Are those lyrics to a song?
I feel
they
like
should be.
They should be. Yeah.
If you want it, if you dream it, is it a Michael Jackson song? I'm gonna have to Google that on the break. I don't think that internal yearning changes any of the results of what's going to happen. And then, of course, we find out this weekend that Rudy Giuliani tests positive with COVID. Hopefully, he gets through that. And he said his tweet that he sent out the other day was that he was doing well, he was getting great treatment, and he was still on top of everything. So I suppose, Donald Trump worked his tail off from Walter Reed, at least as far as the pictures and the tweets showed us through the course of his COVID experience. So, man.
Rudy Giuliani should get in his car, take a little trip around the parking lot, just like the president did. Just wave at everybody. See how that goes over.
Does he have a rally outside of his home right now?
There should be. If there's not, then we'll start one.
There should be.
Yeah, we're going to start a Rudy Giuliani.
Who's rallying outside of Rudy Giuliani's house right now? Man. All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, I want to talk about this restaurant owner in California. This story took over the internet this weekend, and for good reason. I'm going to play that for you when we come back. You want to talk about the height of hypocrisy? Well, in California, you're seeing quite a bit of that, and we'll discuss that when we return. I'd love to get your thoughts as well. 314-241-9797. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797.
Back in the days, we wanted everything.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group at 314-993-9494. He'll show you how to participate in the market gains without ever losing a penny. Thomas is the official financial advisor of the Mark Cox Morning Show.
Let's spend a moment talking about how to get your house sold fast. Or if you're looking to buy a house, how to find the right one for you within your budget. You need to partner with the Moore and Jeanne team. It's very clear. Christy and JT, they are a mother and son duo, the #1 agents for Berkshire Hathaway Alliance Real Estate since 2005, and they're ranked in the top 5 in all of St. Louis out of 14,000 agents. Christy has 42 years in real estate. JT, her son, has 22 years, and these people treat you like family. Family is important to them. They know that the little things matter, and when you call them, you're going to get them. So let me give you the number to the Moore and Jeanne team, 636-537-8288. That's 636-537-8288. It's online at themonschein.com. It's MONSCHEIN. So it's themonschein.com. Reach out to Christy and JT. They're going to go above and beyond for you, just like they do for the rest of their clients. 636-537-8288, themonschein.com.
Guys, 2020's been a rough year on everyone, and that includes your wife or girlfriend. So spoil her this Christmas by treating her to some rest and relaxation with the world's softest pajamas, exclusively from Pajamagram, America's PJ experts for nearly 20 years. She'll love the way the world's softest pajamas feel, and you'll love the way they look. They're silky smooth on the outside, soft like a baby bunny on the inside, to wrap her in warmth and comfort all winter long. Just the ticket for melting away her stress and helping her to relax and restore after a long day and year. And right now, when you order today, you'll get a great deal. Free gift packaging. That means you don't have to wrap a thing. Get her the world's softest pajamas and get your free gift packaging today before this deal disappears. Just go to Pajamagram.com. It's fast, easy, and delivery by Christmas is guaranteed. That's Pajamagram.com.
Take a moment and rate your lifestyle on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 is a life that's nothing like the life you were promised after getting good grades, a college degree, and a good job in corporate America. 10 is the life of your dreams. If you answered anything less than a 10, tune into the Del Walmsley Radio Show. Del, self-made millionaire and founder of Lifestyles Unlimited, will show you how to live the life of your dreams and pay for it with passive income.
Tune in to the Del Walmsley Show, where the hype ends and the help begins. Weeknights at 7 on 97.1 FM Talk.
Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm here in St. Louis. I've been warning our clients that IRS employees are back at work since mid-July, and their collection efforts have ramped up. Well, sure enough, it looks like it's happening. So if you have unfiled tax returns, wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, now's the time to call the Lance Drury Law Firm before the IRS calls you. Tax resolution plans are based off your current income. So if your current income is less than normal due to the COVID-19 pandemic, this is precisely the time for the Lance Drury Law Firm to help you. Your consultation is free, so don't put it off. The Lance Drury Law Firm focuses solely on tax resolution law. It's all we do. And if you have IRS problems, you have legal problems. Let us use our tax law resolution experience to guide you and work on your custom resolution plan. Call now. It's free and confidential. Call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120 or go to Lance, DRURY law.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Menards has the best selection of Wi-Fi controlled thermostats from Honeywell. Upgrade to an energy-saving unit that can be controlled from your smartphone, or pair with your Amazon Alexa or Google Assistant to let you customize your heating and cooling cycles. Some units qualify for local utility rebates based on your zip code. Visit Menards.com for details. Save on Honeywell thermostats from Menards. Price is good through December 13th. Plus, a Menards gift card is always a great gift idea.
Boy, season's greetings to you all from Menards.
Keeping you connected with news, entertainment, and information with perspective. It's all here. St. Louis's own 97.1 FM Talk. Free and fair.
So this is my place, the Pineapple Hill Grill and Saloon. If you go to my page, you can see all the work I did for outdoor dining, for tables being 7 feet apart. And I come in today because I'm organizing a protest, and I came in to get stuff for that. And I walk into my parking lot, and obviously Mayor Garcetti has approved this being set up for for a movie company. I'm losing everything. Everything I own is being taken away from me. And they set up a movie company right next to my outdoor patio, which is right over here.
That video has been all over the place this weekend, as it should be. It even made it onto NBC, which is very ironic because it was an NBC-affiliated film. NBC accused of deceitful editing of angry California restaurant owners' viral video. So this is from Fox News, of course. So let's consider the source here as we read this article. NBC News has been accused of deceitful editing for reporting a California restaurant owner who went viral after saying her restaurant was forced to close because of COVID-19 restrictions, while a Peacock Network comedy was allowed to feed its crew steps away. So apparently they took out the part that they didn't report on the fact that it was of their network when they were talking about this story. And is that important? I think it's interesting. I would like to know that. I didn't know that it was a Peacock Network comedy that was being filmed there. When you watch this video, this woman standing in her parking lot in front of her storefront, and it's the Pineapple Hill Saloon and Grill. Her name's Angela Marsden, and she's standing next to her building. And she walks through the parking lot, kind of around towards the back, and she shows all of these big white tents with long 6 foot, 8 foot long tables and maybe 1 or 2 chairs per table spaced out for people to sit at, work at, eat at, whatever they're doing there. And immediately she pans to the left and there is her tent with a nicer version of the same thing, spaced tables where people could dine at, and she can't do that. Why? Because she's not the elite class. This is where America starts to really step in and go, au contraire. This is not how we are going to do things here. This is when people start to get angry. It's not what you're asking. It's that you're asking it of these people and not those people. It's that you're asking it of the peons that serve under you while you sit in Cabo, Austin Mayor, and tell people that they need to stay home. But you took a private jet to fly to Cabo to tell people to say that. The rules are for you, not for them. And Americans don't really like that. And when you do this, and we've seen this consistently over and over and over again, and you hear the absolute anger in Angela's voice while she's talking about the hypocrisy that is right there in plain sight. When you hear her anger, we all share that anger. We share that with her. I mean, it's so crazy to me to see the immediate reaction of so many Americans is, get her a GoFundMe page because I want to support her. That's the American way of doing things, because we talk with our dollars. We know that money talks in this world, and we want to support people like her. But the Peacock Network and their comedy show, it carries on because it's been blessed. Why has it been blessed? Well, I'll tell you what, I was listening to, I think it was Charlie Kirk, or maybe maybe it was, what's her name? Katie, who's the one who's on the 5 all the time? You always talk about how pretty she is.
I know.
She's young.
Yes. Yep. And she's a brunette.
Katie
and she's wonderful.
Pavlich.
Yes.
No, Katie Pavlich.
Katie. Oh, yeah. Katie
they're all
Pavlich,
pretty.
yeah.
And they're all smart.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She was talking about how, all these movie unions and everything, they're all in with the states. When you follow the money of who's connected to whom in politics, it always ends up making sense. So is it so dangerous to have people dining next to each other? Is it so dangerous that it shouldn't be happening, or isn't it? Because when you're standing in that parking lot in California and you're looking to your right and this is okay, and you're looking to your left and it's not okay, COVID does not discern. I think COVID is real. COVID is something we need to fight against. COVID is a scary thing if you're somebody who has comorbidities and you're worried about what it would do to you, or if you catch it, what it would do to a loved one who has comorbidities. We need to make sure that we are effectively working to combat against this virus. But you cannot, in good faith, tell me that the mayor, Garcetti, knows the difference between tent on the right and tent on the left when they're doing the exact same thing. It can't possibly scientifically be okay on the right and not on the left.
Yeah, that is the best. That is the absolute best example of hypocrisy. That video is amazing because it is literally the exact same thing in the exact same parking lot, and one's legal and one's not. And you said it. I mean, one benefits the upper class, the other benefits the working class, and one's okay and one's not. It's absolutely amazing.
314-241-9797. We cannot get ourselves into a position. I'm really exhausted with what's the Republican viewpoint on this? Or what's the Democrat viewpoint on this? It's not that simple. It really isn't that simple. And when we allow ourselves to do that, it's really permission to be lazy, honestly, intellectually lazy. When it comes to any particular issue, you see, I see a lot of my Republican friends are saying this. This must be what Team Red is doing today. I don't think it's bad to wear masks. I don't think, I know people think that it's like compliance testing. I don't look at it that way. I understand where some people are coming from that standpoint, but I don't personally see it that way, which is why I don't really have a problem I hate wearing masks. I don't like doing it. But if I want to go shop in Target and they say you have to wear a mask, if I want to shop in Target, I got to wear a mask. I'm just going to do it. There's a huge difference between a private business saying this is what you need to do versus the government saying, do this or we penalize you. What kind of authority does the government have to do that? I suppose it has the authority that we give them. We got a caller, Julio, right now. And let's take his call. And if you want to give us a ring, 314-241-9797. We can take calls for the rest of this hour. Julio, thanks for calling the show. What do you think?
Well, I hear this stuff all the time, and don't get me wrong, I do have sympathy for these people, but damn, they keep voting them back in office. It's like the definition of insanity. You keep doing the same old thing and you expect a different result.
I think to your point, Julio, yes. I mean, I live in the state of Illinois. Ryan lives in the state of Illinois. Boy, do we know. But I will say that I don't think a lot, specifically in the county, in St. Louis County with Sam Page, and in Illinois, in Edwardsville specifically, that's even more so because that's a mayor of one town. And the alderman who voted it in. Politics to people is Donald Trump and Joe Biden. I think a lot of people, they just think Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Not paying attention to those local politics has cost people quite a bit. I don't think that they have realized in the past because we haven't had the threat of a pandemic. And the truth is, Julio, that when there's no pandemic on the scene and things are going pretty well, especially in the last 4 years in Trump's economy, when things are going pretty well, you're not really inclined to dig into, wonder what my local government is doing. I mean, I bet you don't even know the layers of government that exist in your locality. I am somebody who could say the same thing. Like I know that there are people looking for folks to run for trustees and everything. And I have to look into what each of these positions do, what's their responsibility. It's just not what we talk about. But these local politics affect us so much more rapidly than whatever the heck Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell aren't doing in Washington, D.C. Again, I go back to the idea of some sort of COVID relief. I want these businesses to have help. I want these businesses to stay afloat. I want them to make it. And when they're being shut down, and if you look across the board, the areas where they're being shut down, there's an obvious political correlation to who's being shut down and where. Who's going to help them? And if in those instances, the idea is your ability to make your own living is being taken away from you, and the government is going to be the only thing that can save you, I don't like the relationship that creates with American citizens who work for what they have. And folks, don't forget, whatever relief that the government then goes and provides for people, they took out of somebody who had a job at the time's paycheck through taxes. The government has no money until they take it from you after you've earned it. That's how it works. That's how the system works. We get into a cycle where people are shut down. People are unable to provide for themselves, and the only place to turn is the government. You want to talk about inflating power? I really don't think, I'm saying this from the bottom of my heart. I really don't think that the people who put this mask mandate fine thing in place in Edwardsville, I don't think that they like got together and like sniveled together and like, what can we do? And how can we take power? And I don't think that I think that they have the best of intentions at heart. I really do. I'm sure there are many of you who disagree with me on that. I don't believe that these are evil people who are trying to use this as an opportunity on a local level to grab and harness power right now while the time is opportune. I don't believe that. I know them. I know several of them. I know they're good people. But when we get into a position where we stop living freely and understanding that everything that we have ever done before has involved risk. In 2009, I was pregnant for basically the whole year in 2009. My son was born the day after Christmas. And that was the year of the swine flu. That was H1N1. Do you know who was at the most risk of H1N1? Pregnant women. There were pregnant women who were just dying because they contracted swine flu. And I remember being scared by it, but I did not live my life differently. I got a flu shot. I think maybe for the first time in my life, I got a flu shot that year. And I've gotten one since. But I don't remember doing this. I don't even remember, like, the suggestion of going through what we're going through right now. That was not in existence in 2009. And I was in the highest risk category at the time. There is something that has shifted now where we are looking towards our government and saying, better fix it. It's up to you. And the American people are given passes to just sit and wait for their next direction from the United States government. I mean, can't we take this information in and make good decisions ourselves? Can't we aren't we required to be responsible? At the risk of whatever risks are available to you. Have you ever been guaranteed in life a risk-free scenario? You haven't. It's different now. We don't even have the ability to choose our own risks in life at this point in time in some cases. Because for some people, I cannot stress this enough, folks. Two things can be true at the same time. COVID is real. COVID is taking the lives of our loved ones. It's not the only threat that exists right now. If we only focus on mitigating the risk that it is COVID, that it is coronavirus, and we don't pay any attention to the idea that livelihoods are being lost and that this is affecting us as a society and as a culture, the way we talk to one another, the way we communicate with one another, the way we care about one another. If we don't understand that COVID is not the only risk that exists right now, you can acknowledge the severity and the seriousness of the existence of COVID, and at the same time acknowledge the severity and existence of an economic collapse that is going to directly affect the middle class and will ripple out for years to come. Both of those things can be true at the same time, and you know it, and I know it, and we need to act on it. It can't be my team's hat says we don't wear masks, and my team hat says if you don't wear a mask, you're a Nazi. Stop using the word Nazi. Do we know what the Nazis did? Both sides of the aisle. Both sides are doing this. Everything is getting worse, and it doesn't even have directly to do with COVID. Our culture is deteriorating in front of our own eyes. And what are we doing to make it better? We're fighting against one another, and it's only going to continue to get worse. It's really, really sad. Let's take a quick break. Katie and Ryan can weigh in on this when we come back, as well as you. 314-241-9797. You can call in. You can let me have it. I can take it. I'm a big girl. Like big girl pants on, and buckle up, buttercup. All right. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Hey girl.
Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797.
You have me in the palm of your hand.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Furnace tune-ups are recommended each year to keep your heating system running efficiently and extend its life. Schedule your furnace tune-up and safety inspection and get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
Michael's Flooring Outlet, the place to go to when you require quality in flooring, when you require value in flooring, and you require great customer service. Check, check, and check. When you want to get that flooring purchase done, whether it's residential or commercial, Michael's Flooring Outlet is going to help you pair your space with the flooring that's right for you. You can come in with exactly what you want and they will point you in the right direction, or you can come in with kind of an idea. The idea, I'd like it to look like this. I want a hardwood look, but I don't really know what my options are. They're going to tell you. They're going to help you match your circumstances, your space with all of the different products that are available. And the cool thing about flooring is there's a ton of technology that has gone into it, especially if you haven't purchased flooring in a while. And they're going to be able to make sure that your lifestyle is going to be lived well on the flooring that Michael's Flooring Outlet puts together for you. They have 3 locations for you in St. Charles County, located on Main Street in Old Town St. Peters at Mid Rivers and Highway 70. In West County on Olive Boulevard, just a mile off 270 West on Olive. Also available for you in Darting Prairie. michaelsflooringoutlet.com.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Stamps.com. This holiday season, more people will be mailing stuff than ever before. This means the post office is going to be busy. You don't have time for that. Stamps.com brings the post office and now UPS shipping right to your computer. Mail and ship anything from the convenience at your home, your office, the beach, your cabin, wherever you happen to be with a computer. Plus, Stamps.com saves you money with deep discounts on everything that you do. You get 5% off every first class stamp and up to 40% off priority mail and up to 62% off of UPS shipping rates, not to mention that it's a fraction of the cost of those expensive postage meters, and you don't have to leave your home. A complete no-brainer. Don't spend a minute of your holiday season at the post office this year. Sign up for Stamps.com instead. It's no risk. With my promo code Glover, you get a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage and a digital scale with no long-term commitment. Just go to Stamps.com, click on the microphone at the top of the homepage, and type in Glover. That's Stamps.com, enter Glover.
Mark Cox here for my friends at Pretzel Stop. You've heard me talking about Pretzel Stop for a while now. They're right there on Jungerman Road, just off Highway 94 next to Kohl's and across from Walmart. And Tony and his team are doing a great job. They've got an enormous variety of brats and sausages stuffed into a pretzel bun. But Pretzel Stop's about a lot more than that. They've got gourmet sandwiches, the chicken salad pretzel sandwich. They've got gourmet burgers on a pretzel bun, barbecue on that warm pretzel bun, and even pretzel pizza. And they've got pretzel bites that are out of this world. Do yourself a favor and stop by there. They've got desserts like fruit smoothies and sinful sundaes, and they've got you covered. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, catering. They can even customize the shape of pretzels for parties. So for more information, check them out online. You can find them at pretzelstop.com or at 1650 Jungerman Road in St. Peters.
I was having a lot of sinus infections. My sinuses were clogged, pressure, headaches.
Linda suffered for years with chronic sinus infections.
You don't feel like doing anything. When you feel like your head is completely clogged, all you want to do is just lay down and sleep. And the pressure is just not fun, always walking around with a headache.
Now her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of ENT and Sleep Medicine Associates called balloon sinuplasty.
I really did not know what it was like to feel like you're really breathing and not being so clogged up. I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I would definitely recommend it for someone else.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, headaches? Find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Set an appointment today with ENT and Sleep Medicine Associates. Call 618-206-5935. 618-206-5935. That's 618-206-5935.
The Dave Glover Show.
When I was a kid, if you walked into school with clean white shoes, you would be physically accosted by your classmates. You know, you're in Shawshank.
Weekdays at 3 on 97.1 FM Talk.
I think it's so cute, and I think it's so sweet how you let your friends encourage you to try and talk to me. But let me stop you there, oh, before you speak. I to the no, no, no. My name is no. My sign is no. My number is no. You need to let it go. You need to let it go. Need to let it go. I to the no, no, no. My name is no.
Ryan
My sign
demanded
is
that you put
no.
this
My
on.
number is
I didn't
no.
really understand why.
I have a choreographed dance to it. That's why. I didn't tell you that ahead of time.
You didn't also tell me you were going to wear a leotard, but here you are.
But here
Yeah.
we are,
I mean-
leotard and tights.
It's revealing, but it's fair.
See if the numbers on the live stream go up or down.
Oh, they're climbing now. I promise to stay seated, though.
Thank you. On behalf
Which
of
actually
everyone.
makes it all even weirder that you just wanted the feel of it.
Yeah, I don't want anybody to see the leotard. I
Can
just
we
want
get
to
a
feel it
fine
against my
from
body.
somewhere? Can we get a Collinsville mandated fine on Ryan wearing leotards? There's got to be somebody in government in Collinsville who would be willing to work with me on this.
Those
somewhere.
local boards.
Call me.
Make it happen.
There's this Collinsville's really getting out of hand. There's this really weird mandate. It's very specific.
It only applies to one person.
Yeah, as long as the guy is wearing a leotard and roller skates, you can't be downtown.
And you got to be named Ryan.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like this should happen now.
I can't picture it.
I have a feeling that'll never happen, but that's just me.
So, have you guys seen the protests outside of these New York restaurants? Cuomo has said, this is a Fox News breaking news alert from about an hour ago, hour and a half. New York may halt indoor dining again if coronavirus hospitalizations don't improve. Cuomo warns.
But
Remember
Cuomo
when
can
your dad
still,
would say, "This is my last warning."
Yep.
You're like, oh gosh,
It
don't
makes me
close
laugh
down.
because he's still up and about every single day, giving these press conferences, taking questions, like
Winning Emmys.
The guy's still rolling.
Can't stop, won't stop. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the solution is here. And I feel like I'm all over the map when I'm talking about these issues because I put up on the Annie Frey Show Facebook page, I think I posted it on Saturday, but I took the pictures at 8:45 on Friday night. So there's not really many places to go these days. And truth be told, I'm not really looking for places to go. We don't do much out right now. That's and it's not because I'm hunkered down and I'm like making any kind of statement. We just don't. We find reasons to stay inside, or we spend time with my parents or my husband's parents. Our bubble is pretty small, and that's about the extent of it. So I told you a few weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, maybe, I don't know. My son could probably tell you the date and time. We downloaded Pokemon Go on our phones again because this was something we could do in our car, out driving around for hours if we want to. And the kids have one of our old phones, and so they play on it and in the back, and my husband and I get some time to sit in the front of the Chrysler Pacifica. Thank you, Cassins. I mean, seriously, if you're looking for entertainment on wheels, you need to get yourself a Pacifica and just enjoy the silence in the back of the car when they're wearing their headphones. I don't even know what they're watching. I don't even care. They're
Enjoy
quiet.
the silence.
Yes. You put headphones on those kids, put up and we were like very strictly against screens in the car. I'm like, kids, look outside. There's trees. Enjoy their beauty. Take it in. And so we bought this car in October of 2019. We had no idea that we were going to need portable entertainment for an entire year coming forward because we wouldn't be able to go anywhere and do anything. And seriously, there have been times where we're like, let's just get in the van and drive around, and the kids can watch movies. And it's like kind of how my husband and I go on dates right now, which if you are considering having children, just consider what that's like in the future. That might encourage you. It might discourage you. The decision is yours. But we're in Edwardsville downtown at 8:45 on a Friday night. There are bars up and down that street. And like I said, the Wildies there. It should be a hopping place. It always made me excited to drive down Main Street. You can ask my husband. I'm always like, if we're going out, his parents live out kind of towards that direction, and he always likes to take back roads. And I'm always like, no, go down Main Street. I just like to see the people out doing things. I don't want to necessarily always be one of those people, but I like to know that it's happening. It was dead. It was completely dead, and it was sad and shocking to be in a college town. Like, I like to see people walking up and down. If you drive down, like maybe at 11:30, you get to see people stumbling up and down. It's really funny.
Yeah, it's fun. I agree.
My entertainment is not doing it. My entertainment is watching you go out and have fun and going, that looks like fun. I wouldn't want to feel that in the morning. And it's just not happening right now. And a lot of people have reacted to this mask fine mandate and said, well, now I know where not to shop. This is very sad for these business owners. Like, I want to support these business owners who are once again being put between the rock and the hard place. And I don't know what the solution is. I don't know if Edwardsville is going to eradicate coronavirus for the next however long this fine lasts, and Bethalto and Hamel and Glen Carbon and Granite City are just going to be suffering while Edwardsville manages to have pushed through this. I don't know how it's going to work, but I feel like it's just sad for everybody. It makes me really sad.
Yeah, it's quite interesting to go from St. Louis County, where I'm at, to St. Charles, which is where I grew up. And it's shocking, but you have to understand that everyone that can't get their Christmas shopping done in St. Louis County, that were depending on doing so, or people that were going to eat out at the restaurants and just enjoy this season, you can't do that anymore. So you take your business elsewhere. And once this pandemic is over, the area that I live in could be in shambles. It could be in I hope not. I pray that it isn't. And then you have a very flourishing other area, St. Charles, which good for them. But I just can't wrap my mind around where I live right now, businesses in crumbling. I just don't want to imagine that, and it being like a ghost town, like you just said, wherever you went, Annie, on Main Street. I don't want to walk past boarded up businesses with no one around. I don't know. It'd just be too depressing to me.
Home Depot's full, Lowe's is full, Walmart's full, Target's full.
Yeah.
Those places aren't suffering.
Annie, I think you said it. It's that it's these people that are making these decisions, and not national leaders, and not even state leaders necessarily, but our local leaders. They're not necessarily trying to do something because they're, sitting in a giant chair, petting a cat and laughing at what let's destroy the businesses in our town.
Is that what you imagine? Evil.
That is exactly what I imagine.
What you imagine evil people.
Well, I imagine them and I can't see their face because I watch Inspector Gadget, always wanting to see Dr. Evil's face. They never show it. But I don't it's the education system's fault. I mean, these are people who've grown up, probably most of us, in public education. We weren't taught necessarily, or I wasn't at least, by teachers who were saying, this is the American difference. This is how America is different from other nations. This is our Constitution. We might have had a general civics class, but there wasn't a focus on what makes America different and freedom at the heart of that. And so we're seeing those people who've gone through the education system now in government making decisions that they think are right because they're not basing it on what America's supposed to be.
And I keep going back to this because I think it's important. And I don't know that anybody, and I don't know that this will cut through because there's so much noise out there. But if you are somebody who is opposed to the mask mandate, you might still be a mask wearer. You might wear your mask everywhere and still go, it's too much. A fine is too much. If you're somebody who is not for shutting businesses down, and if you're somebody, I've seen so many people comment on our social media, our lives that we do during the show, send me messages, comment on posts that we put up, who say, I'm not for government overreach of fines, these mandates that are being put out, but please wear your mask. People who are drawing that distinct line between where the government steps in and starts to take control, and when they take control, your freedom goes away. People who are advocating for freedom and common sense at the same time. And you cannot regulate common sense. You are going to agitate people when you put mandates like this out. And they had to have known that. I mean, obviously, you see what Sam Page has been taking on in the county. What is the real alternative? I really wish we would see people in St. Louis County. I wish it wasn't just about he wants us to wear masks or he wants us to close things down. We don't want to wear masks and we want everything to be open. Like,
yeah.
Are those the only two options that we have here? And to have some, like, and I don't know that you can do that in 2020. I don't know that you can be like Mr. Middle Ground or Mrs. Middle Ground and get a voice. And I don't know that I'm not going to get hammered for saying this, but it's what I believe. It's like, can we be libertarian on this? Can we say, if you feel unsafe going out in places that are having indoor dining, do not go to those places. But if you feel safe being indoors, if you've experienced COVID already, if you know that you can go and feel comfortable and be responsible dining indoors, will you please go do it so that business owner and that waitress and that dishwasher and that cook and that bartender can put food on their table tonight? Is it possible that maybe there is a middle ground that doesn't involve, obviously you're a Democrat and I'm a Republican, so whatever you're saying is absolutely incorrect here. You're completely wrong and you're a Nazi. Is that the only solution left in 2020? No, it's not. And you know it and I know it and we're all tired of it. That's right. Thanks for requesting the song. Ryan's going to dance now.
I'm just going to stand up.
He's going to get it all out of his system before Collinsville makes this mandate out. I hope the fine is huge.
Diamonds Direct's just decided to squeeze in one more incredible event before Christmas. A flash sale on all earrings this weekend. Yes! Save an unprecedented 25% off all earrings at Diamonds Direct. Get Diamonds Direct's unbeatable price plus an extra 25% savings. All diamond studs are included, so this is huge. Special financing too. Guys, you can never go wrong with a nice pair of diamond stud earrings. And you've never seen prices this low. It's Friday through Sunday only. A truly epic earring event at Diamonds Direct.
Olive in 270 at City Place.
Win enough cash for a tropical vacation, a new car, or a new entertainment system, and help local charities. You could win the STL 50-50 raffle. 50% to local charities, 50% to the winner. It's a win-win. Here's this month's charity.
This is Pat with Youth in Need. Your 50-50 ticket will help us serve kids and families in crisis throughout the St. Louis area.
Each month, a new charity, a new winner. Enter at STL5050.com. Powered by Giveable, St. Louis nonprofit.
If you've listened to 97.1 FM Talk, you have heard of Doug Voss of Voss Financial Safe Money Radio, as he has been a staple on the station as the financial expert for many years. You can hear him on Safe Money Radio several times a weekend on 97.1 FM Talk, and in case you miss any of those shows, on his podcast on radio.com. That's radio.com, and search Safe Money 97.1. So call Doug at 844-676-SAFE. That is 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through D.H. Hill Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Zero Res Carpet Cleaners. I recently met with the owners of Zero Res, and I have to say that I am delighted and privileged to be representing them in the world of carpet cleaning. These guys are absolutely the A+ triple gold standard. The game in carpet cleaning, traditionally over the decades, has been to send out direct mailers saying some ridiculous price, $10, and it ends up being $300. We don't play that game. We are the best equipped with the highest technology. The reason we're called Zero Res is because we leave behind zero residue. Everyone else is leaving behind at minimum residue, possibly nastiness from the last job they went to. Right now, mention me for the DGS deal, $119 for 3 big rooms plus $75 off your air duct cleaning, 314-474-2020 or ZeroResSTL.com.
Hello, fashion-conscious home lovers. Let's transform your lovely home's sense of fashion with the most beautifully current and stylish chic designer window treatments. Just contact Michael for an in-home visit at ProctorDrapery.com. 7 days with Proctor, spelled like doctor.
Proctor Drapery, the best in town. No finer window fashion can be found. Call for an appointment at your home. Spell Proctor.
KFTK FM Florissant, K254CR St. Louis, driven by the Bommarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk, a radio.com station. Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Looking for a mix of clouds and sunshine on this Monday afternoon, but it stays chilly. 45 will do it for the high tonight. Clear and cold down to 28. Tuesday, lots of sunshine, 49 degrees. Plenty of sunshine, looking for a high of 59, 60 each day, Wednesday and Thursday. Warmest part of the week will be Wednesday, Thursday. Warmest part of the day around 2 o'clock. Rain coming in on Friday. This is 97.1 FM Talk Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Make the election more secure, including a ban on ballot harvesting and the move toward a ballot system that can be audited. But President Trump telling reporters this afternoon.
You look at the different states, the election was totally rigged. It's a disgrace to our country. It's like a third world country, these ballots pouring in from everywhere.
But his court challenges so far not gaining any traction. Meantime, the president praising lawyer Rudy Giuliani, who's been hospitalized after testing positive for coronavirus. Despite criticism from some businesses, California Governor Gavin Newsom is sticking with his new regional stay-at-home orders, which include a new round of business closings and kick in when ICU bed space gets too low. He's also rolling out a new smartphone tool designed to let people know if they spent time near someone who tests positive for COVID.
The California Notify app we're putting out is about an opt-in opportunity for individuals to participate.
But in places that already have the app, 16 other states plus DC and Guam, most residents are not using it. Hall of Fame wrestler Dan Gable now has a Presidential Medal of Freedom. He won gold at the 1972 Olympics and then went on to coach Iowa wrestlers to 15 NCAA titles.
It has been a lifetime of work, learning from many others to be an outstanding competitor and person. Then
During today's White House ceremony, President Trump calling Gable the greatest of all time. America is listening to Fox News.
Dell Technologies' end-of-year sale is the perfect time to upgrade tech for your business. Save big on the latest computers powered by Intel Core processors for your small business. And don't forget to shop servers, storage, and thousands of top-brand electronics, all with free shipping. Call a Dell Technologies advisor who can help you find the right tech for your business needs at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
At home with Robert, retired burglar and family man.
Carolers! That's the holiday spirit. Speaking of which, Simply Safe Home Security is having a huge holiday sale. Right now, you can get 40% off a new system and a free camera at simplysafe.com/holiday. That's 40% off the system U.S. News named the best of 2020. Simply Safe protects your whole home 24/7 with monitoring by professionals. The sale ends soon, so go to simplysafe.com/holiday for 40% off and a free camera today.
You can get your exclusive Dave Glover Show 2020 sticker while supplies last by donating $1 or more at any area Hardee's. And you'll know you've helped St. Louis area families this year. It all goes to Operation Food Search, helping meet the needs of families in our area. Make your donation of any amount in the Hardee's drive-thru. It's Operation Food Search, Hardee's, the DGS, and you, coming together for the Christmas season. 97.1 FM Talk.
It's open enrollment season, and MediShare is a Christian healthcare sharing ministry that saves most families about $500 a month. Google MediShare and see if it's a right fit for you. And check out the podcast from the Associated Press, Ground Game, hosted by AP's digital editor, Megan Crane.
If you've struggled with losing weight, if you know that you need to lose weight and you've never given it a shot, and it's kind of starting to itch at you, it's kind of starting to really get to you and make you feel like it's time for you to make it a priority, I want to talk to you about Slim 180. Slim 180 can help you lose the weight. They can coach you through the process of their wonderful programs that they have, and they can get you started and they can get you dropping that weight fast. They have multiple programs that you can choose from: a traditional program, a medically supervised HCG rapid weight loss program, or a new quick start lipoline program available for you. If you're interested in the medically supervised HCG rapid weight loss program, I did it myself, lost over 40 pounds with Slim 180, and I think you can do it too. As a matter of fact, I know you can. Reach out to them, schedule a consultation, find out what part is right for you. Tell them that Annie sent you when you call 888-754-6111. That's 888-754-6111, and lose the weight fast. Don't put it off any longer. They have 6 locations conveniently located for you, but they are meeting remotely as well. Online at myslim180.com.
Do you know that Goodwill accepts car donations? Yes, if you have an old car or truck that's just taking up space, consider donating it to Goodwill. It's quick, easy, and towing is free. Plus, you'll get a tax receipt and family meals for a year, compliments of our hometown Lion's Choice, while supplies last. For more info or to donate online, visit mersgoodwill.org. Your car donation helps fund Goodwill's many programs, including their Excel Center High School with over 400 graduates and still growing. Your donations change lives. Since you've been spending more time at home, you may have been cleaning and reorganizing and decided it's time to part with some of the jewelry you never wear or cash in some of those collectibles gathering dust. Bring your gold, silver, and diamonds to the all-new Jewels on Hampton. They're paying some of the highest prices on precious metals, coins, and memorabilia. Exclusive designs from Alvanza's Jewel Art Designs, watches, and thousands of other treasures await you at Jewels on Hampton. Come by and see the new jewelry displays that will wow you, and the wide variety, and most importantly, the price. During these times of caution, Jewels on Hampton is taking all the precautions and measures to be CDC compliant for your safety. Jewels on Hampton. So whether you need to cash in some of that old jewelry you don't need or trying to find that perfect ring, necklace, or watch, you'll get the best prices on the all-new Jewels on Hampton, where they pay top dollar every day. 4506 Hampton in St. Louis Hills and jewelsonhampton.com. Anton's Air Conditioning and Heating is proud to announce they have air sterilization technology, proven to safely kill the COVID-19 virus airborne and on surfaces. Right now, receive a COVID relief finance offer of payments for 18 months. Whether you are home or back in the office, Anton's will make sure your air is safe. Go to antonshvac.com and schedule your free consultation today. And payments for 18 months on all products offered by Anton's Air Conditioning and Heating. Payments for 18 months.
For everything that's happening, with analysis that's free and fair. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Don't miss a minute. Download the radio.com app or stream the station live anytime through your smart speaker. The Annie Frey Show is sponsored by Forensic IT, the tech experts that find the root cause of your technical problems. ForensicIT.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, Sid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. The latest news here. This is a report from Fox News. President Trump is expected to sign an executive order Tuesday that will ensure all Americans have access to the coronavirus vaccine before the United States government begins aiding nations around the world. This looks a little bit more like his America First policy in action. Senior administration officials told Fox News Monday that the president will re-emphasize to the American people that the, quote, priority has been an America First approach, end quote, during a vaccine summit at the White House Tuesday. So that's interesting to hear that he's going to do that. And I'm sure that will cause lots of people to cheer and other people to contort themselves into positions that they haven't been in since yesterday. So that's the latest there with Fox News. I came across this article on social media this weekend, and it actually, we always joke on the show about how we message back and forth and we say LOL, but Katie will message me sometimes during the show and I'll say something to her and she'll write back LOL, but I can see her face on the Facebook Live or the YouTube Live. And I'm like, you didn't laugh out loud. You might have thought you thought it was mildly amusing, which should be its own thing. Like, huh,
mildly amusing.
I was reading through my Facebook feed and I saw this post and I actually did laugh out loud when I read it. This is the headline from an ABC7Chicago.com report. Illinois state representatives caught at large downstate political gathering with no masks, social distancing. So they were outed, and Jeanne Ives was one of those that was outed at this event. And I had to laugh because before I saw that article, I had seen posts from many of these representatives who I'm friends with sharing photos that made it feel like maybe it wasn't so much like they were caught. Jeanne, great to have you back on the show. You've been outed by ABC Chicago. How do you feel about this? It's very scandalous, and we're glad to have you here to talk about it.
Boy, I didn't know that, anybody cared what I was doing to begin with, let alone not wearing a mask in a restaurant. Happens all the time. Just came from a restaurant, sat down, and didn't wear a mask too. These people have nothing better to report on other than, I think eight people were killed in Chicago this weekend. I mean, this is just par for the course. The media are children. That's what they are, and that's how people should treat them.
I cannot agree with you more on that. I think that the greatest failure of our country right now is the complete and total absence of journalism, of people who want to get to the bottom of truth. Forget which politics it ends up falling on, whose side ends up getting credit or blame for anything. There's nobody who is out there advocating for truth. It's everything is so grossly political, and you kind of got swept up in it here. I'm curious, at this event, there were other state representatives that were there. It was a Christmas party, as I understand it. And, some people are saying it's hypocritical for these politicians to be at this event together when the state is telling them that they need to, shut their businesses down and everything. And I'm quick to say, you need to make sure you know which politicians in the state are saying what, because there's a stark contrast between the Democrats leading the state of Illinois right now and those Republicans who maybe not in much of a majority, but are there advocating for freedom.
Well, that's exactly right. I mean, there's nothing hypocritical about Dan Calkins and Brad Halbrook and Darren Bailey being there amongst friends who, by the way, nobody was forced to show up. This was not a mandatory session or something like that. It was, you could voluntarily go or not go. Listen, nobody looted there. Nobody broke any windows. The peace wasn't disturbed. These are people voluntarily getting together, making their own adult decisions like adults do. And these guys are not the hypocrites. These are the ones who say that you should be able to make decisions on your own and not have some guy sitting in Springfield or actually in Chicago in his mansion making decisions on your life and your livelihoods. I just am shocked that people would call them hypocrites. They're not at all. They're freedom fighters.
Yeah, isn't this an example of the exact opposite of that, Jeanne Ives, a former Illinois state representative? You're leading by example. You're saying this is what we should be doing, and you're doing it.
Precisely. It's like nobody was hiding, by the way. That's why it was posted on Facebook. We didn't care to hide it. And by the way, I'm just a private citizen here, too. On top of that, I didn't know I was a newsmaker anymore.
Yeah, no, I have a feeling you could be still. I want to ask you about what Governor Pritzker has been doing. Specifically, we've seen hypocrisy from him. Originally, when these mandates came down, he was visiting Wisconsin. His family is visiting Florida. And we've seen case after case after case across the country of Democrats in leadership who say rules for thee, but not for me. What do you think should happen to these Democrat leaders? And I say Democrat because they're all Democrat. There are no Republicans shutting anything down anywhere and then doing something different. So that's not Democrats to call out a party. It's just who they are. What do you say to these Democrats who are making these rules? The Austin mayor in Cabo, while he's telling everyone they need to stay home, he flew there in his private jet. I mean, this elitist mentality is sickening. Don't you think these politicians should have some consequences?
100%. I mean, just today there was a story out of Chicago that one of the aldermen who owns a restaurant was actually having private parties in the back end of the restaurant as the rest of it was sort of shuttered up to look like there was nothing going on. But on the backside, he actually is having parties in his restaurant. I mean, these are the hypocrites who will destroy your life as long as they can do what they want to do. And I'm just shocked that people vote these folks back into office. I am shocked on the hypocrisy alone. These people are the worst to be governing the state. And instead of talking kind of about what they are doing, We should talk about what they're not doing. And one of the biggest problems we have in the state of Illinois is all this employment security fraud going on. So people filing untruthful unemployment claims against other folks who are then eventually going to be subject potentially to having their tax refunds garnished or the state coming after them. And you have 200,000 fraudulent IDS claims. You have a very sophisticated financial sector. You have some of the most educated people in our universities. You have banks who understand how to detect and track fraud and end it. And you can't get the state of Illinois to handle IDES properly and get people who really need their money faster and yet stop the fraud. Governor Pritzker has been a complete failure along with the entire Democrat Party in handling any of the COVID response responsibly.
Jeanne Ives, do these people know about the level of fraud that we're talking about with misuse of funds and things like that, and they're just ignoring it, or are they just not aware of it?
So I don't know. I mean, I just came off an election cycle where, the center of DuPage, Wheaton included, elected a guy who is the biggest anti-religious bigot, and he wants to hike your taxes in every way possible. So they either like that model and that's what they want, or they really just don't know what they don't know. And I am perplexed. I'm not sure which it is.
Jeannie, we didn't talk to you about this ahead of time, so I hope it's okay for me to ask you this. If you don't know much about it, that's fine. Just speak up on that. But there's a lot of discussion going on right now about some education standards in the state of Illinois that look to be changed. I'm wondering if you know much about those. If you can tell, can you tell us about what the state of Illinois is looking to implement potentially here in the coming weeks?
Well, it looks to me like, and I have read about the legislation. Well, it's actually not legislation. It's just basically some mandates coming down from the State Board of Education on things that they want teachers to now have to be certified in and to promote. And it includes a lot of leftist ideology. One of the particular standards is that you need to involve the students in determining the curriculum. And I had this discussion just last week with a teacher who I barely knew, but I happened to meet at a conference. And I said, he goes, well, I think kids should be involved in curriculum. I said, seriously, you think third graders should just tell their teacher what they want for math curriculum? No, that's not what we do. And it's basically involving students in more into some of those decisions. And then it's a lot of progressive discussion about inclusion and diversity, for example, and making sure that you're supporting the diverse students and all this EduSpeak stuff. And I just, it's troublesome that they're going to kind of make this a mandate as part of teacher curriculum and certification. That's a problem.
Yeah, I'm going to be following up on this more as I get more information, more experts to speak on it, because I think it's one of those things that happens that Illinoisans, it seems to me that Illinoisans get so used to corruption and this very heavy-handed progressive Democrat way of doing things. You just come to expect it, and then you find out that something took place like a week ago or a month ago, and you go, how the heck did that happen? It's because people are fatigued by the way Illinois does its politics. I want to give you an opportunity to talk about Mike Madigan and the pressure that he's under. Do you think, you've served in the House of Representatives in the state of Illinois, do you think that Mike Madigan's going to lose his speakership?
No, I don't think he will. I think he's going to prevail in one way or another, even if he doesn't have the 60 votes. Nobody else is going to get the 60 votes either. And so he will continue on in that and handle things officially, even if he's unofficially, even if he's not officially the speaker and they have a figurehead in there. But there's nobody else who can put 60 votes together either. So I think in the end, he flips a few people and they all sing Kumbaya, and they come together and they say, well, there was just nobody else, so it's Mike Madigan. And that's fine. I mean, they should own it all.
If that's the case, what is it going to take to actually bring down that empire, so to speak? I mean, is it going to take him getting arrested?
Absolutely. He's going to have to be indicted before he actually goes ahead and resigns. Yes. That's exactly what's going to take.
Do you think that with what you've seen so far, with the circle getting a bit tighter around him, with his people who have been affiliated with him, do you think that's in the realm of possibility?
I do. I definitely do. I think that they're squeezing the right people and that nobody's going to go to jail for this guy. But we will see if they have enough evidence to really convict him. I think that he would probably be indicted, but he may make it through if they don't have strong enough evidence to prove that he actually had knowledge of what he knew of, contracts and everything else that he was handing out. But yeah.
Jeannie, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show. Big fan of yours and what you've done, because I tell you what, I'm really sick and tired in the state of Illinois of being told what kind of Republican can get elected here, and then they don't get elected. So somebody somewhere needs to speak up and represent what it means to be conservative. You've done that, been grateful for it, and you're welcome on the show anytime.
Well, thank you for having me. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas to you as well. Jeanne Ives, a former member of the General Assembly in the House in the state of Illinois, was very outspoken, was very common sense driven, and challenged Bruce Rauner in that primary, and less than 2%. Man, I don't know that she would have been. Maybe she would have lasted 10 minutes into election night against J.B. Pritzker in 2018. I walked into the studio to do election night coverage, and I didn't even make it around the corner of the studio before they projected J.B. Pritzker to be the winner over Bruce Rauner. Yeah. Would have liked to have seen her be able to win that primary. Alas, it didn't happen. But we need more people speaking up and challenging the status quo in the state of Illinois. She has done that, and I've been grateful to know her. Let's take a quick break. We can take some phone calls when we come back. 314-241-9797. I do want to talk about this stupid Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I'm not really a fan of giving her a platform more than she provides for herself, but of all of the stupid comments, this one that she made this weekend just irritated me to no end, and we'll discuss it when we come back. Don't go away. More Annie Frey Show in just a moment.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797.
Hi, this is Mike Collette, Vice President and Marketing Manager at Dobbs Tire and Auto Center. My family and I want to wish you and yours happy holidays, a very Merry Christmas, and thank you for the opportunity to serve you this year and for many years to come. Happy holidays, St. Louis.
I just created a special offer with Carestand. 40% off their new Luxcraft collection.
Great! Luxcraft is the most elegant luxury vinyl. It is nature recreated into floors that look like weathered barnwood, Appalachian timber, even century-old logs.
20 natural wood creations and wide 9-inch planks. Now, 40% off an Ambassador Midwest floor.
And get professional installation by our team of master craftsmen.
Offer ends December 31st at all 4 Ambassador Midwest floor locations.
Experience more at Ambassador
Midwest Floor.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Omaha Steaks. You can find them at omahasteaks.com. If you go to the search bar at the top of the page, you type in my last name, Glover, and it's going to take you to our own little section of the website where you get the DGS deal, the Deluxe Grillers assortment featuring Omaha Steaks Butcher's Cut Filet Mignons. These beauties are perfectly aged, hand-carved, and famously fork tender. Also included in the package are tons of incredible meats, amazing sides, and the infamous Omaha Steaks desserts. So if you need a reason to celebrate in this very strange year of 2020, or just a way to celebrate, go to omahasteaks.com, locate the search bar, type in my last name, Glover, go to the separate page of the website where you're going to get this great offer. It's also going to include 4 free burgers and a free digital meat thermometer. These are great products from our friends at Omaha Steaks. That's omahasteaks.com, search bar Glover.
Guys, 2020 has been a rough year on everyone, and that includes your wife or girlfriend. So spoil her this Christmas by treating her to some rest and relaxation with the world's softest pajamas, exclusively from Pajamagram, America's PJ experts for nearly 20 years. She'll love the way the world's softest pajamas feel, and you'll love the way they look. They're silky smooth on the outside, soft like a baby bunny on the inside, to wrap her in warmth and comfort all winter long. Just the ticket for melting away her stress and helping her to relax and restore after a long day and year. And right now, when you order today, you'll get a great deal. Free gift packaging. That means you don't have to wrap a thing. Get her the world's softest pajamas and get your free gift packaging today before this deal disappears. Just go to pajamagram.com. It's fast, easy, and delivery by Christmas is guaranteed. That's pajamagram.com.
Regardless of where you're at in life, a college degree is more than a piece of paper, more than a line on a resume. It should take you further than just your next job. Missouri Baptist University takes you places other online programs can't because MBU opens minds and hearts as well as doors. With 15 online bachelor's and graduate degree programs, MBU offers progressive, faith-based education that meets the highest standards and the demands of your busy schedule. At MBU, you'll do more than work that checks the boxes. You'll hone your thinking and leadership skills and develop the kind of work ethic employers want and entrepreneurial success demands. Are you ready for something more? Find your light at Missouri Baptist University. Visit mobap.edu and shine on.
Find your light in 2021 through Missouri Baptist University. Missouri Baptist University is now waiving standardized tests for spring and fall 2021 admission. Online undergraduate and graduate programs begin January 11th. Learn more at mobap.edu and shine on.
This is Sean Rimmerman. I'm your host of We're Having a Senior Moment every Saturday morning on 97.1 FM Talk. Are you having issues coping in the time of COVID? Do you need some assistance making sure that your family member, that your loved one is safe, is secure, and as independent as possible? Give us a call at Comfort Care Home Care. We want to make sure that you and they live their best lives possible. Call us at 314-965-9600.
The latest local forecast and severe weather coverage you can count on from the name in St. Louis weather.
This is 97.1's Chief Meteorologist, Dave Murray.
On 97.1 FM Talk, powered by Air Comfort Service.
And get a little worn down in between. Like a bull chasing the matadors, a man left with his own schemes. Everybody needs someone beside them, shining like a lighthouse from the sea.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Happy to be with you. Hope you're enjoying your Monday. We appreciate you choosing to spend some of your time with us today. We welcome you back anytime for as long as you like. Come on in, get comfortable. So this tweet came out this weekend from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. It was in response to something Dan Crenshaw said at a, I don't know, event. He's standing in front of a bus. Whatever those politicians do. Yeah, something. And Dan Crenshaw was talking about, he made a comment about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and how before coming to Congress, her biggest concern was whether or not to give somebody one kind of drink or another or something to that effect. And Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's Twitter response was, Republicans like to make fun of the fact that I used to be a waitress, but we all know if they ever had to do a double, they'd be the ones found crying in the walk-in fridge halfway through the first shift because someone yelled at them for bringing seltzer when they wanted Spark.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those comments that you're like, I don't necessarily fault her for responding to what Dan Crenshaw said because it's an insult. But then again, does she think that no Republicans ever worked jobs like she did? You know, I mean, is she the only one who ever worked her way up to where she's at?
Yeah, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Just broke up a little bit.
That's all right. I'm having a little bit of internet issues. We'll make it through. I look at what she's saying here. Did you hear the whole tweet? Did I get the whole tweet out?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
So the suggestion somehow or another that Republicans, these are her words, Republicans, if they ever had to do a double, they'd be the ones found crying in the walk-in fridge halfway through their first shift. The complete and total lack of understanding of who we are as American people, when you compare what these politicians who, let's not forget, they're in DC to serve us. We put them there, and it's on us to replace them in the event that they are not adequately doing their jobs. Make the insinuation that Republicans as a whole wouldn't know what it's like to pull a double. Do you know what Republicans are? Do you know who Republicans are? She has the opportunity here. She says Republicans like to make fun of the fact that I used to be a waitress, comma. She has the opportunity there to talk about the benefits of being a waitress, the life lessons that working in customer service, or especially food service, provides a person. There probably is a point that she can make here to talk about how being a waitress isn't something to be made fun of. But instead, she does back what she doesn't like that was done to her, and suggests that because of their political party, Republicans would be unable to work a double and would be found crying in the walk-in fridge. I was a cocktail waitress, and when I was a cocktail waitress and a banquet server at a country club, it was funny. It's like I knew what it was like to be part of Dirty Dancing, only there was no dancing. It was just a lot of hard work. And there were the fancy people, and then there was me and the rest of the staff. But I mean, when you're looking at
Well, since you're having troubles, but yeah, I think that I think I know exactly where you're going. When you look at somebody like Ocasio-Cortez, who says, you know what, I had to work my way up. Now I want to give everything away. Like, talk about undermining your own message. You could use that opportunity to turn around and say, well, because I had to work my way up, I understand what it's like to work your way up. And I really respect working people. But instead, I don't. I respect the government and their ability to take care of you, which is where I wanted them to take care of me, apparently.
Right. We're actually going to go to a break really quickly, Ryan, and figure this out for Annie. And we'll come back shortly, guys. So stick with us. We're going to figure this out.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Get a little worn down in between, like a bull chasing the matadors. A man left with his own schemes. Everybody needs someone beside him, shining like a lighthouse from the sea.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. In addition to heating and cooling, Air Comfort Service also offers indoor air quality, water heater, and AeroSeal duct sealing services. Get in your comfort zone with aircomfortservice.com.
I'm listening daily. You are not alone. During these challenging times, listening is fundamental to promoting understanding and healing. Here's licensed clinical social worker David Sholin on the mental health of LGBTQ youth at this time.
COVID in particular with LGBT communities, especially people who are dependent upon others, whether that's because of youth or because of income or because you lost your job, in environments where you're not out or you are out and that's punished. If that's at home, you now really have fewer places to escape and receive support. So if I'm sequestered at home, if I'm on a lockdown at home and my parents don't accept me for who I am, that just raises the tension for that particular family that in the past they may have been able to let some of that pressure and steam go by going out to the community or hanging out with friends or even going to school or to work if those environments were more supportive. And now those are shut down in most cases.
Talk has the power to save lives. Find out more at imlistening.org.
Each month when I go to pay my mortgage, I think about Stewie because I am saving a lot of money on every monthly payment on my mortgage because Stewie got me a significantly lower rate, and that was over a year ago. Rates are even lower now. If you have thought about looking at your rate, what you're paying right now on your mortgage, and doing a refi, there's a ton of places you can do that, and everybody's talking about rates being at historic lows. But I want to remind you that only Stewart's American Mortgage has the bagel loan, and the bagel loan is called the bagel loan because it looks like a zero. You pay zero in fees that all these other lenders will charge you for. They're going to charge you up front. It's going to be a fee, and you're going to pay a lot of money to get your mortgage rate refied and down. not at Stewart's American Mortgage. Use the bagel loan with Stewie. You don't do that. Reach out to him and find out what he can do for you. All you got to do is call him or text him 314-324-4440. 314-324-4440. Let him know that Annie sent you. Google the bagel loan, stewartsamc.com, and MLS number 226715.
Hi, Chad Hansen with Hansen's Tree Service. If your trees are looking sick or if you have insects that aren't welcome in your landscape, Hansen's can help. Our plant health care program offers tree and shrub fertilization as well as pest management to maintain a great looking landscape. Check us out at hansenstree.com.
Hey, it's Andy Cohen, here to wish the Humane Society of Missouri a happy 150th birthday. That's 150 years of second chances and forever homes for animals in need. Help us make more happy tales and donate today at hsmo.org.
Attention St. Louis homeowners. Are you looking to sell your house without all the stress? Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis can buy your house cash and close on your timeline. No commissions, no repairs, no appraisals, no showings, no headache. Call Chris now, 314-782-7000, or go online to chrisbuysHomesSTL.com to get a free no-obligation cash offer for your house. Behind on payments? The tenant stopped paying the rent? The house needs too many repairs? Not a problem. Chris buys houses in any condition and deals with any situation. There's a reason why Chris Buys Homes is the most trusted home buyer in St. Louis. Go online to get your offer today. chrisbuysHomesSTL.com or call 314-782-7000. That's 314-782-7000.
It's a busy time of year, and it's a busy time of need. Mark Cox here. SSM Health Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital needs our help. Our goal is to raise $20,000 for the Tree of Hope campaign, which funds programs crucial to patients and their families who sometimes couldn't afford it otherwise. Donations provide hope, healing, and comfort to all kids, no matter their ability to pay. Listen next week for the Week of Hope when we celebrate the work done at Cardinal Glennon. But don't wait. Donate today at glennon.org.
The Mark Cox Morning Show.
Indoor dining remains a high risk.
Restaurants are non-essential businesses for indoor dining, but you can still go put your money down at the casino.
They're full of crap.
Weekday mornings 5 to 9.
Sleigh bells ring, are you listening? In the lane, snow is glistening. A beautiful sight, we're happy tonight, walking in a winter wonderland. Gone away.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Thanks for sticking with us. Had a little bit of technical difficulty there. It's really funny because normally if we have an internet issue amongst the three of us, I'm the first one to know because everything on my end goes dark. This time it didn't, and I was in the middle of making a brilliant point, and Ryan just started talking right over me. And I was like, all right, take it away, Ryan.
Yeah, and then you were like, here's a great point. And I was like, whoa, that was a good point. Duh, I'm going to make a stupider one. What I'm going to say is more important.
The first time I was like, whoa. And then I was like, oh, I think we have issues. He's saving my butt. Never mind. Thanks, Ryan.
You're welcome, even though it probably felt really rude on your end. Because you
hands in the middle. 1, 2, 3, team. I mean, when it first happened, I was like, wow.
So your face,
I guess I wasn't cutting it.
You cut out in the middle of that, Annie, on the live stream.
Mm-hmm.
You cut out and then you came back on and I could see your facial expression and you were like,
I didn't know if we were taking on water or if it was just me. I mean, I don't know. Hopefully we've solved the issues. If we haven't, stick around because Katie's going to have to figure out how to tap dance, and it's always fun. It's always fun to watch. That's why I encourage you to watch on the live stream. Man.
Anytime you have a great point now, and I know that I could, I'm
You're
like,
just
oh
gonna
man,
start
you know
talking.
what? I could say something even better than that.
And I'm going to be
I'm
like,
just gonna interrupt
hello?
you.
Hello? Can anybody hear me? Is anybody there?
Yeah,
Still talking.
Katie, I'm going to just interrupt at intervals, and then you just turn her down, and we'll make her think that nobody can hear her.
I'm not taking part in any of this stuff.
Are you sure? Okay.
Completely washing your hands of it. What are you guys doing right now that's to get away from news?
Yeah.
What do you do? What do you spend your time blowing off steam right now?
Honestly,
are you going to like an old hobby or have you branched out?
This is a perfect season for me to escape. because the holiday movies and you can put up the decorations and you're focused on the tree and shopping to get your Christmas gifts. So I have been totally using that as an excuse to get away. And I love it.
Oddly, news is my getaway right now. And I don't know what I'm getting away from. I guess when I'm at home and I'm just like sitting around the house because you can't really do anything.
Yeah, maybe we need to talk about what else is going on in your life.
Yeah, maybe we need to talk about my my very one-dimensional life. But I really do. I love following all the latest developments with the Giuliani stuff and the Sidney Powell stuff. Like that's my getaway. And I love
from what?
Get away from life. I mean, life right now is rather dull. I mean, you can't, I'm kind of not even looking forward to Christmas in the same way as you normally do. I mean, I'm still looking forward to it, but we're not going to travel like we do to see my in-laws, and we're not going to do some of the things we normally do. So it's kind of, everybody's a little depressed.
Do you wonder, Katie, about, I mean, you've got most of your family here, right? So
Yes.
you're going to continue to be able to see your family.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like, for folks your age who are in their late 20s, probably more socially active than people who are in their 30s, I mean, more established families in your 30s than in your 20s, do you feel like, are people just doing what they want to do? Are people getting stir crazy? Are people obeying lockdowns and not going out and about?
Yeah.
Like, how are people coping right now?
People are not doing what they want to do. In fact, I think that people right now, because this is the introduction to you having to take care of your parents versus parents taking care of you. So a lot of my friends are realizing, and myself included, my dad's part of the at-risk population. The wheels start to turn in your head like you're not a kid anymore. You don't get to have your parents aren't babysitting you. They're not holding your hand anymore. You are an adult, and it's come to that crossroad where your parents actually might need that help from you now. And so I think that has been something that a lot of people my age have been really thinking and considering. And no one's just like, let's go to the bars. Let's go out and go to the bars. Let's get crazy. Nobody went out the night before Thanksgiving, which is the craziest. I mean, it's as crazy as New Year's Eve. So I think that's kind of where we're living right now. And I'm okay with it. I totally understand. I've had COVID, so it's a little bit different for me. There's some gray area. But all of my friends are just really, really concerned that if they want to see their families for the next couple of months, grandparents, siblings, that they better watch themselves before making those obligations with their family members.
Yeah, I think that the holiday season does put extra pressure on you, because if you want to go spend time, like if you've dedicated yourself to saying, no, I'm going to go spend time with my parents. I mean, maybe your parents aren't elderly yet, but they're in a higher risk group than you are. Then you kind of, you take into extra consideration. It's a selfless way of thinking about things. Like what you would do, Katie, as somebody who's had COVID and is in your late 20s, versus what you would want to do and potentially bring back to your parents. That is a selfless thing. And I hope that that's the case for a lot of people. I wonder too, if I keep seeing that we haven't seen the spike yet from Thanksgiving.
I keep seeing that too. Dr. Fauci, I think he said it's coming, but it hasn't happened yet.
What if it doesn't?
That would be
we
great.
won't hear about it again.
Will we know?
No, nobody will talk about it.
I mean, I just wonder if Ryan, watching all the news and stuff, like you continuing to follow all of this stuff, you're somebody who has always been at the center of our remote working right now because you have CF. And so you are at a high risk specifically for this. I mean, have you continued to talk with your doctors and stuff? Have they fluctuated at all on this as they've learned more?
You know what's odd, and I don't want to put words in their mouth, because when I go to the doctor, I'll ask questions about everything, but including COVID, and I'll just ask them how they're doing. How's things with your work dealing with all of us? Is there a lot of people not showing up, or is there a lot of people, getting sick or anything? They don't want to come out and say it, but there's a little bit of an eye roll that when I ask questions about these things, as if they are saying, we're making a bit more out of this than it is.
Hmm.
Now, again, I don't want to put words in their mouth. That's just the general sense that I get.
It's probably true also that their response to you and another patient who has CF, your condition and their condition would be unique to
Absolutely.
you. So for them to say that to you, they know you personally, they know your circumstances, that, if initially the thing was, Ryan, you need to stay at home. Like, we don't know where this is going and this could be very bad for you. You need to stay at home until we know more. That if you get to the point now where it's the end of the year, I'm sure that they're not like, go get COVID, you'll be fine. But
Right.
but how it spreads and who is at a greater risk and where it spreads, I don't know. I would assume that they're probably also encouraging you to make smart decisions and not live in an inordinate amount of fear.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's completely true. But there's also a sense and I had a surgery over the summer. If you recall, I was gone for a week or so. There are all of these doctors who are not dealing with COVID. If you're dealing with COVID, you've probably been super, super busy. If you're not, these people are worried because a lot of hospital people and doctors and nurses and practitioners and things have been laid off.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are not going to see them. And I think that applies to all, even, the CF world. A lot of people are so afraid that they don't want to go into the doctor. Well, the doctor is operating a business of sorts. And if it doesn't have patients, doesn't have customers, that's bad for them. So I don't think they're advising me based on that. But I also think that that's a concern for them, and that they're a little bit surprised that people are so afraid that they won't even go see the doctor.
I have two friends that are travel nurses. They do travel nursing, and both of them, it's just so surprising to hear about their experiences, because one of my girlfriends who went away for a long time and then came back to Missouri was saying every state that she's been to has had a completely different fluctuation of patients, and that's normal. But there's a lot of time that she said that she isn't going into work. They're just calling her saying, you don't really actually need to come in today. We're not at maximum capacity. We don't have a lot of COVID patients. So that was just very surprising to hear from her and a couple of other of my friends that do travel nursing.
Yeah. I remember, when was it? Like late April or so? Maybe it was summer. They started laying off nurses, hospital workers. They started cutting back because there was an influx, of course, across the country in certain locations of COVID patients. In other places, there weren't necessarily that influx, and they prepared themselves for that, and everything had locked down in the world. But we were speaking with Dr. Scott Hardeman earlier, talking about now is the time where they're inundated with kids who have respiratory situations and they need antibiotics and so on and so forth. It's just really not happening because folks aren't out there. And, life isn't being lived. Kids aren't, like my son being in school broke his finger. If you're not in school and playing Gaga at recess, you don't break your finger, and then you're not in the hospital or the urgent care facility to go about the business of being in healthcare. People lost their jobs over it. And now we're seeing in some places an influx of people in ICU beds. You compare that to what is it normally like in the first week of December. And it's just, man, it is hard to dive into any of this information and read it from a place that is apolitical, that is just giving you factual information, that isn't trying, it's not the means to an end. The end is what they're interested in. What action do I want to invoke from people at the end of this? And then they work their way in to get there.
And when is the time that as a society, we're not going to be really, really scared anymore? That's
Great
kind
question.
of what I keep going back to that because, Annie, you mentioned this last week. When we think of 2021, for me, I'm like, yippee, like we're there. Something good's going to happen. Can't wait for it. And we don't know, but I have to keep telling myself for that in order to keep functioning. But that's exactly it. Is 2021 going to make a difference in how, if we're still scared or not? Is the vaccine going to be the thing that makes us look at each other and be like, okay, I can give you a hug now? What is it going to take for us to not be so absolutely terrified anymore as a society?
Well, Dr. Hardeman has been he's been an advocate for not being fearful, being educated, and being responsible, yes, but not living in fear. So much of what took place in those first few weeks has lingered through how we have managed ourselves through the rest of this. And, not always, but every other week or every few weeks or so, I ask him, like, if you could tell one thing to everybody about COVID, if you could get one message across in all of the noise of all of the information that is out there, what would you say? And he doesn't want people to be so afraid. And we are all, to an extent, afraid. And there's a message out there right now that comes with fear. And I think back to the conversation that Trump had with that author. Who was it? It wasn't Bob Woodward. Who was it? Was it Bob Woodward?
Yeah, it was Bob Woodward. Yeah.
Saying that he didn't want that. He said, I think the words he used was he wanted to play it down. You can, as a parent, and I'm not a big advocate for, looking at government like it's your parent. That's a really, really bad way to manage government in the United States. But if you consider how, if a parent, a boss, anybody who is in charge, who is deemed an authority in a particular situation when there's a crisis, do you want them to start screaming panic? Do you want them to be like, this is going to be terrible. It's going to be awful. People are going to die. Yeah, you don't want that to happen. You need to present the facts so that the people can get to work managing it, managing the crisis, making the best of what you can. And you cannot manage a crisis when people are in panic. So if you have a leader who is dedicated to managing said panic, and you put people out there, which he did, like Dr. Fauci and the Surgeon General and Dr. Birx, when you put those people out front and you let them talk on the issue, you let the experts say what they want to say, and then you, as a leader, leaning on your experts, use that as an opportunity to lead people forward.
Yeah, you talk about Dr. Fauci. That's somebody who's gone back and forth so many times. And he said something, I think it was last week or maybe the week before, that it got a little bit of attention just because he was contradicting himself. But what he said was, and I'm not going to quote him, but it was something like, when you're not symptomatic, you're really not a transmitter of the disease. Well, that was contradictory of what he said early on in this thing. And that kind of got a little bit of news just because he contradicted himself. But the fact what he was saying was, if you're not having symptoms and you're not transmitting the disease, well, that changes everything. Because that means if you walk past somebody in the store who's not coughing and doesn't look like they have symptoms, or if you yourself start to experience symptoms, you just stay home. Until then, you can kind of do whatever you want because you're not transmitting it. That is such a game change that I can't believe we're not talking about it more. But, we've all kind of learned the unofficial and sometimes government official rules so much that it's kind of like, yeah, well, that's the way things are. If something comes out and says, well, we need to actually be 12 feet away from somebody, everybody kind of eye rolls and goes, you know what? We've already established that it's 6. It doesn't really matter at this point because these are the general rules that we've said we're going to follow.
And so much has changed. So much has changed from March. Whenever I remember getting the piece of paper in my car saying that I was an essential worker just in case I got pulled over by the cops. Like, that's what I remember people.
Yeah.
I remember our boss saying, we are evacuating the building. We don't know when people are going to be coming back.
Yeah.
There will be a handful of you that have to work the board, that have to make sure that we're on air, that will be at the station. And we're going to give you a piece of paper that says if you get pulled over because you're out and about, because that's how far it was going to go. If you get pulled over asking, what are you doing in your car traveling? You have this document saying that you're an essential worker.
And that's frightening, but that's where we were. And at the time, everybody was okay with it because we thought it was going to be 15 days, maybe 30.
Yep.
And everybody kind of said, you know what? We can all agree, not be told to, but we can all agree that we can pull together. That's where the phrase came from, right? We're all in this together. Everybody was saying it over and over because we were at the time. We thought that this was going to be short. And the longer it dragged on, the more we said, you know what? Those things we were doing at the beginning, those really aren't the solution based on A, the fact that we're still there. You know, they didn't solve it. And B, we all thought that this was going to be a very short period of time. Yet here we are, what is it, 9 months later? Almost 10, something like that. It's hard to keep track. And we're still trying the exact same thing as we were in March and just yelling louder. But if you do it this time, it'll all be fine.
I have a question. And I know I'm bringing this back to politics, which is what we're trying to, make a difference between.
Politics is involved in everything, though.
But, there is some politics to this, especially because people criticize Trump so hard, as Annie was just saying, about the way he handled the situation. Do you think that Biden really has something that he is going to present that will make a difference, that will help us flatten the curve even more, that will help us, besides the vaccines, move on from this? And if he doesn't do so, will people change their mind about the way Trump handled this?
No, he doesn't have anything. We would have heard it back in the debates. He said already that he wants to issue I think to his credit, he did not say he wants to issue a mask mandate, that he wants to tell everyone, let's do masks for 100 days. Well, that's fine. That's
what does that mean? I'm just going to say it.
I think it just means that he's going to use his platform to get the message out and say, I want to do a mask for 100 days. I hope he's not issuing a nationwide mandate, because people, if you think they're rebelling now, just wait. It's going to get worse. So that's going to backfire if he does that. And hopefully he knows that. But hopefully a whole lot of things. Hopefully we don't even know until January 20th who the president officially is. So as we get closer, we're hitting a lot of deadlines this week and next week. A lot to be watching. I have a feeling that there's going to be some explosive stuff over the next probably 7 days, but we'll see.
So Annie did drop off again at the end, guys.
If you couldn't tell.
Yes. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you for listening as always. And please feel free to join us on our live stream. You can access that on YouTube or Facebook.com/Annie Frey Show. We love your comments. We love seeing the interaction. Please join us on there, as well as listening to us on 97.1. Thank you, guys.
Bye, guys. Dave Glover Show next.
Gonna lose control tonight. What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart. So beat the drum with me. I'm not a man.
At GEHA, we believe that possible is for everyone, because possible isn't perfect. It's progress and persistence. Fun and fulfilling. Whether it comes in giant leaps or